From Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, Michigan, today ABC Sports brings you the game that could determine the national championship as the Buckeyes of Ohio State, ranked number 1 nationally and undefeated, take on the 4th-ranked and also undefeated University of Michigan. College football today is brought to you by United Delco and your local Delco dealers nationwide. By the Power Tool Division of Rockwell International, quality power tools for the home user. And by Tyco Industries, America's leading manufacturer of electric trains and electric racing cars. For the University of Michigan football fans, it's been waiting a year, waiting to get them in their own ballpark, because last year in Columbus, Ohio, the Wolverines were upset by a fired-up Ohio State Buckeye unit. And today is a significant day for the 4th-ranked Wolverines, because they think by upsetting Ohio State, now ranked number 1, they can become the number 1 team. But more importantly, the Big Ten title is at stake. The winner will go to the Rose Bowl. And today here on ABC, in one of 5 important games on ABC this week, you will see the 2 berths determined for the New Year's Day Rose Bowl game, because immediately following our unprecedented Ohio State-Michigan game, it'll be the University of Southern California, ranked number 9, against crosstown rival UCLA, ranked number 8, and the winner of that game will meet the winner of our game here on a foggy, overcast day in Ann Arbor, Michigan. A record crowd of 105,223 are here. This is the largest crowd ever in a football stadium on a campus in the country, as Bill Fleming and Duffy Doherty will be back to talk about Ohio State in a minute.
This is Tyco Championship Pro Racing with 4-speed stick shift. Shift to control speed on the high bank turn. You control the speed of your car with the 4-speed stick shift. Shift for passing. Automatic lap counter. Shift for climbing. The race depends on how you shift. And there's the winner's flag. I win! Championship Pro Racing with stick shift controls, lap counter, and electric power pack from Tyco.
We've been conditioned to believe that metal is stronger than plastic. However, in tests conducted by an independent laboratory, a drill with a plastic housing, because of its unique construction, proved far tougher than the best-selling metal drills on the market. Rockwell.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Fleming along with Duffy Doherty, speaking to you from the sidelines, which is reverberating with sound with those 105,000 fans. And Duffy, this is a new experience for you, and I know that you're just as excited as everybody else here.
Bill, many Saturday afternoon I felt those butterflies in this big stomach of mine, and this afternoon's no different. You know, earlier today, someone asked me if I was partial to either team. I said, if you'd asked me that question last year, I'd have said I wanted both teams to lose. But right now today, I can say that I just want for both teams to play remarkably well so that they can project the Big Ten in a favorable way.
Behind me, you hear the Buckeye battle cry being played by the Ohio State Marching Band, and now they break into the victory, the fight song of the Wolverines of Michigan. For the 5th time in 6 years, these 2 teams have come right down to the final Saturday in November to determine the Big Ten champion for that particular year. And this is the 3rd time in history that they have come into this game both undefeated and untied. It happened back in 1933. Michigan won that game 13-0. It happened back in 1970 when Ohio State in Columbus won 20-9. And here we are today, both teams undefeated and untied, one ranked number 1, one ranked number 4, and who knows what's going to happen here this afternoon. All we can tell you is that this has been building, as Chris said, for the last 365 days.
Bill, I'm glad that I didn't have to coach against either one of these teams this year, especially this Buckeye team that they had such a remarkable record. No one has ever dominated the conference to the degree that they have. No one comes closer than 24 points. Now, they have a very fine explosive offense. Well, not explosive in the sense that you go 50 or 60 yards, but they have the type of ball control offense. They believe that every time they get the ball, they should make a 1st and 10, then make another 1st and 10, then another 1st and 10, and finally they're going to score. They lead the nation in defense against scoring, and Michigan is right behind them. These are 2 outstanding teams, but the Buckeyes certainly had a more impressive record.
All right, let's take a look at what makes the Buckeyes so powerful. First of all, there's a fellow by the name of Cornelius Green who's come in there at quarterback and got the job away from Greg Hare. Cornelius Green wears number 7, and he truly has been outstanding as a runner this year. Really, I don't think there's a better quarterback, and maybe the Michigan fans would dispute that in the Big Ten because they have Dennis Franklin, but just look at his stride, his quickness.
He has added another dimension to this fine Buckeye team. Hare was a fine quarterback. Green got his chance when Hare was injured, and he has a lot more speed than Hare. Let's take another look at Green now, coming back to pass. This is one of the things he does best. He fades back to pass and then runs with the ball. He's got the same kind of elusiveness of Kent, Condridge, Holloway. Franklin is a lot like him. Franklin is also an excellent quarterback, but Green has been really a big, pleasant surprise for the Buckeyes this year.
All right, I don't have to tell you who number 45 is. If you've been following Big Ten football, that's Archie Griffin, and on the right is the fullback, Bruce Elia. Archie Griffin, as a freshman, really set the Big Ten Conference on its ear last year, and this year, of course, he is the leading rusher by a whopping margin, 145 yards a game. Can you believe that? Well, you can believe it when you see him run.
Let's take a look at Archie Griffin. Woody Hayes calls him the finest back that he's ever coached, and this takes in a lot of territory. Watch this great power and speed and balance. Archie sets sail for that end zone, and he gets the ball across that alumni stripe.
Archie, believe it or not, is not very big. He's only 5'9", weighs 184 pounds, but he runs with a great deal of intensity. As a matter of fact, he's been compared to a small tank.
Yes, here he goes again. He has a great ability to accelerate and run away from those would-be tacklers. There's Archie again scoring for the Buckeyes.
And here is Bruce Elia, who is the leading scorer on the Buckeye team. He is a converted linebacker, had to come in when Champ Henson was hurt, and he's really been outstanding.
Elia combines power and speed. He's a rugged player. He was a linebacker, but he's made that conversion back to fullback very well.
The Ohio State Marching Band behind us has just spelled out Script, Ohio. The I has been dotted in the tradition of the Buckeyes, and that brings all the Buckeye fans, and believe me, there are thousands of them here today, right to their feet. Now let's once again talk about the passing attack of the Buckeyes. It hasn't been potent. It's in fact 10th in the Big Ten. But if you'll notice this next play, just watch how he throws the long one to Hazel.
Now, Cornelius Green had a fabulous passing record in high school, but he hasn't had to pass with the Buckeyes. They've been on the ground most of the time. Here's a fine pass and a touchdown.
All right, that's a brief look at the Buckeyes of Ohio State. There you see the crowd on hand here, very anticipatory of this game between Ohio State and Michigan.
And now, over the stadium, the famous Goodrich blimp.
Goodrich doesn't have a blimp. Goodyear does. And since they've done more advertising, it's not too hard to confuse our names. But we believe the best way to keep our name from being forgotten is to keep making tires worth being remembered. And that's just what we're doing.
If you want Goodrich, you'll just have to remember Goodrich.
Delco batteries. After lots of time and lots of miles, you get to know your car. Delco. You want it to be trouble-free, no matter where you are. That's why you'll find the Delco sign everywhere you go. For easy starts and quality parts, it's the name to know. Well, the more you know.
Delco.
The more you want Delco.
Delco.
The more you know.
Delco.
The more you want Delco.
The big block M out on the middle of the field as the 235-member marching band of the University of Michigan plays the fanfare, which is a kind of a selection that has parts of all of the famous songs of Michigan: Varsity, the Victors, and the Yellow and the Blue. Let's talk about the Wolverines and then join the band for a minute.
This is a fine Michigan team. I think Bo Schembechler's team had more injuries this year than they've ever had before. They lost almost their entire offensive line early in the year, but they've come back strong, and they're actually in the best physical shape and condition today. They, too, are a ball-controlled team. They, too, are a great defensive team, just like the Buckeyes. And I think that this should be a slam-bang game. I think that Michigan has a little better of the passing game with Dennis Franklin. He's probably a little better passer than Cornelius Green. At least he throws more. They have fine receivers, and I think that they're going to probably have to open up to run against the Buckeyes.
Duffy, you know, I think one of the things that Bo Schembechler talked about was the fact that Ohio State was much more physical than Michigan. He was concerned about that. He was also concerned about the rain. But right now, let's join the band and the singing of the fans for the famous fight song, The Victors. Dr. George Cavender will direct the Michigan band and this throng of 105,000 fans in our national anthem. That was Dr. Paul Drosty of Ohio State University leading the Michigan band in our national anthem. And now let's talk about the Wolverines of Michigan, ranked number 4 in the nation, and some of their key people. Certainly you have to talk about fellows like Ed Shuttlesworth, Gil Chapman, and also Dennis Franklin, their quarterback. First of all, let's take the big back, Ed Shuttlesworth, and then talk about the scat back, Gil Chapman.
Let's take a look at Shuttlesworth. He reminds me a lot of Roosevelt Leaks of Texas, their fine fullback. Shuttlesworth is about 230 or 35 pounds, and he has speed to go along with his power. Last year, he was injured in the Ohio State game with a sprained ankle and wasn't nearly as effective as he will be today. There's Shuttlesworth again storming into the end zone. Here's another shot. He likes the sight of that white stripe, and watch him set sail for it. Here he comes. Big Ed.
Ed's also a great blocker, and Michigan calls on him on many of these plays. Now let's watch Gil Chapman in action, number 24. Gil did not play against Purdue last week. Might be a little bit doubtful today, although Bo Schembechler says he will be out there at the start of the ball game.
He is the one back that Michigan has who's most apt to go all the way. He can set sail. He has about 9.7 speed. He has elusiveness. He's not big and powerful, but he doesn't need much running room, as you'll see here. He can really put them up, pick them up, and lay them down.
Michigan does have a lot of depth in their backfield, and if Chapman doesn't play much, then Heater can come in or Gordon Bell. They have 3 real good tailbacks, and they also have a fine wingback.
Here you'll see him take advantage of Ed Shuttlesworth's block, and he cuts back inside and uses that great speed to get into the end zone.
I mentioned the wingback, Clint Hazelrig. He wears number 43, and many times you'll see that misdirection in the backfield where they'll fake to Shuttlesworth, fake to Chapman, and come back with a counter with Hazelrig.
Hazelrig is used mostly as a receiver, but he is also a fine ball carrier, as you'll see here.
Now, let's talk about the man that makes everything run, Dennis Franklin, number 9. He actually comes from the state of Ohio, but he's performing for the Maize and Blue of Michigan here today. Really an outstanding quarterback, more a runner than he is a passer, although he has proved that he can pass the football. Let's watch him, first of all, in running it, and Duffy, you can compare him with Cornelius Green.
Well, I think that they compare very favorably. They're very much alike. They like to run even when they go out to pass. Watch the speed and elusiveness of Dennis Franklin. He's also not very big, about 170 or 75 pounds.
And as far as throwing the ball, Bo Schembechler has never been one to go to the forward pass, but he can do it, and he did show last week they can go short or they can go long. When they go short, they like to hit Hazelrig, but when they go long, they sent him down last week, and he really had really a fantastic catch.
Here we'll have Franklin passing again. He's fading back and throwing to their fine tight end, Paul Seal. In fact, he forced Seymour, their great offensive tight end, into a tackle position last year.
And you may see Paul Seal, number 83, very much in evidence in the ball game today. Paul Seal is big, he's strong, he's got great hands.
Here we'll see Paul Seal's the height. He's about 6'4", and he can get up and catch the ball. Dennis Franklin stands in there strong and throws the ball very, very well when he has to.
So that's a brief glimpse of the Michigan Wolverines in action, and I think we ought to hear from Duffy Doherty about the keys to victory today, simply because the weather does have a determining factor in all ball games. It is not raining now, and of course the artificial rug here has been covered all night long. But Duff, let's hear from you how this weather might affect it. They do call for rain later.
I don't think it'll affect these two teams very much, Bill, because they both are excellent ball-handling teams. They don't make very many mistakes. You don't make mistakes and play for Bo and Woody very long. I think that if Ohio State is to win, they have to maintain the ball on the ground behind that great offensive line, which is called the finest offensive line in college football today. They have to shake Archie Griffin loose for some 5 and 10 and 15-yard gains. They have to keep them honest with Cornelius Green's option. If Michigan, on the other hand, is to win, they have to slow down this freight train from Columbus, Ohio, and they have to also put the ball in the air successfully, because I do not think I don't think they can sustain marches on the ground against the fine Buckeye defense, which is first in the nation against defenses.
Hey, the coach is really fired up today, isn't he? Okay, Duffy, go on up and join Chris. We'll be back in just a moment from the Michigan Stadium.
The gifts that won't stay under your tree. Polaroid Square Shooter 2, strictly color, $24.95. Polaroid's Color Pack camera, big pictures in color or black and white, $39.95. One of Polaroid's folding 400s, the camera made for the famous focused flash. They all give you Christmas pictures on Christmas Day. Is there any other way to take pictures?
Here she is, the finest you can buy. How do I know? I made them by hand. Took me 12 days. For you, a bargain at $80. Now here we got the opposition. Farrah double knits at $20. Their secret, a great fit. And I hate to admit it, a lot of pant for the money. What am I wearing? You gotta be kidding. I know a great buy when I see one.
Farrah slacks, $10 to $30. Next best thing to tailor-made.
Maybe better.
You know, we have so many memories about this great rivalry between Michigan and Ohio State. This is the 70th game that started way back before the turn of the century. And this Michigan Stadium was built in 1927, and ever since that time, every alternate year, the Buckeyes have been coming here. And here we are, an odd year. In 1973, they're here once again. They brought some great players here in the past. Fellows like Rex Kern, John Brockington, Jim Otis, Jack Tatum. And for the next moment or so, let's just reflect on some of the players who have played here as our camera crosses this tremendous stadium. Jim Parker, remember him, one of the great guards. Vic Janowitz, Heisman Trophy winner back in 1950. Howard Hopalong Cassidy, 1954 and 55, a great All-American. For Michigan, Tom Harmon, who played 3 years for Michigan against Ohio and never lost to the Buckeyes. Benny Osterbahn, the only 3-time All-America for the University of Michigan, a fantastic end. In this photo, a center on the 1932, 33, and 34 teams, Jerry Ford, the vice president-elect, designate, I should say, and Bump Elliott, who, together with brother Pete, played for Michigan, as did Ron Kramer. The Wisters, Chaffee, so many, many others. And Ron Johnson, remember him? Great ground gainer for the Wolverines for 3 years. So there's a lot of tradition here, and we hope that you'll stay with us for the first of a super doubleheader this afternoon. The Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, the scene of college football today. This is Bill Fleming, along with Chris Schenkel and Duffy Doherty, inviting you to stay tuned for the battle of the undefeated as Ohio State Buckeyes meet the Wolverines of Michigan.
The American Heritage, Tuesday night at 8, 7 Central on ABC.
Stadium in Ann Arbor. The Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines, both undefeated, meet for the Big Ten championship and possibly the national championship. This ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by great sponsors, but look at this action. The Michigan Wolverines coming out, as you just saw, the Ohio State Buckeyes hoping to tear up the Michigan Big M Club banner. That shows you how the teams feel about each other. Last year it was Ohio State that upset favored Michigan. And here are the Wolverines, ranked number 4 in the nation, unbeaten in 10 games, going against the number 1 team in the company, Ohio State. And here now they run under their sign. There they are, centered around their coach, Bo Schembechler, and this is a team that doesn't believe. Now here is earlier Ohio State coming out a few moments ago, and watch what they try to do to the Michigan sign at the center of the field. You talk about Big Ten rivals. They're the oldest Big Ten rivals going. And what an afternoon to be in Ann Arbor. The fog is beginning to lift. It is overcast. The temperature is 55. The temperature of the fans is a lot higher. And this is going to be an afternoon that you're going to see what I think will be one of the great football games of all time, because we have a record-breaking crowd of over 105,000 fans. And we hope you'll be comfortable watching this ABC Sports Exclusive, which is brought to you by Chevrolet, building a better way to see the USA. By Goodyear, makers of the Custom Guard, Steel Guard radial tire. By the Savings and Loan Foundation, on behalf of your nearby Savings and Loan Association, they want you to know how money works. And by Texaco, and the many thousands of independent Texaco retailers and distributors in all 50 states. The largest press coverage of all time, 675 members are here from all over the world. And there you see one of the bands supposedly entertaining at halftime. And if you don't think I'm proud to be on the ABC Sports staff, because this has been the most phenomenal week in football sports history. A doubleheader on Thanksgiving Day, Nebraska, Oklahoma yesterday, the Kodak All-America, and now today, number 1 Ohio State, number 4 Michigan, and right after it, Keith Jackson, Lee Gross Cup from the West Coast, bringing you the battle for the Rose Bowl berth, the other berth between USC and UCLA, where there is no love lost. Speaking of rivals, well, there's a man to my left and on your right as you watch that had as rivals Michigan and Ohio State for many years. And the last 2 times he played Ohio State, he beat them. Duffy Doherty, Michigan State. Duffy, you're back in Michigan, and I know you have a special feeling about this game.
I sure do. I'm glad I didn't have to coach against either of these teams this year, because they're awfully tough. I'm very proud of the Big Ten and what it stands for when you can see a spectacle like this. Down on the sidelines over the years, I never realized just what a tremendous, enthusiastically exuberant place this Michigan Stadium is. And this is just college football at its most wonderful best. And I'm very happy to be with you, Chris. And we're going to have a lot of fun today.
Yes, we are. Duffy, and another man that'll have fun is a Michigan graduate. He grew up right here in Ann Arbor. He's been our friend for years and one of our great announcers. Let's go down to the field now. And our friend Bill Fleming. Bill.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, the Buckeyes of Ohio State. At tight end from Ritchieville, Pennsylvania, number 80, Fred Puggich. At left guard from Toledo, Ohio, number 63, Jim Kriegel. At right tackle from Cleveland, Ohio, number 74, John Hicks. At quarterback from Washington, D.C., number 7, Cornelius Green. At quarterback from Cumberland, Maryland, number 18, Greg Hare. At left halfback from Columbus, Ohio, number 45, Archie Griffin. At left end from Warren, Ohio, number 88, Van Decree. At right tackle from Lakewood, Ohio, number 71, Pete Cusick. At linebacker from Champion, Ohio, number 53, Randy Gradishar. At linebacker from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 62, Vic Cagle. At linebacker from Delaware, Ohio, number 32, Rick Middleton. Left halfback from Coral Gables, Florida, number 20, Neil Colsey. And the coach of the number 1 ranked Buckeyes of Ohio State, Woody Hayes. And now for the Wolverines of Michigan. Defensive end from Daly City, California was 39, Don Coleman. Defensive end from Detroit, number 91, Walt Williamson. Defensive tackle from Warren, Michigan, number 75, Doug Trozak. Defensive back from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 25, Barry Dotzauer. Wingback from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 43, Clint Hazelrig. At fullback from Cincinnati, number 31, Ed Shuttlesworth. At fullback from Plymouth, Michigan, number 30, Bob Thornblade. Offensive tackle from Cleveland, Ohio, number 78, Curtis Tucker. Offensive tackle from Mayfield, Ohio, number 73, Jim Cood. Offensive guard from Chicago, Illinois, number 61, Mike Hoban. Defensive tackle from Pequot, Ohio, number 71, the co-captain of the team, Dave Gallagher. And the tight end from Detroit, Michigan, number 83, co-captain Paul Steele. And the coach of the Michigan Wolverines, Bo Schembechler. So those are the lineups, and now back to our ABC telecast booth with Chris Schenkel and Duffy Doherty.
Thank you very much, Bill Fleming. I don't think I have ever seen two teams. Last year, Ohio State and Columbus seemed more fired up than the Wolverines, who were favored. But here you have seen an example of two teams that ranked number 1, Ohio State, and Michigan number 4, that just can't wait to get at one another. And Duffy Doherty, I know sometimes when a team is this high, they can come up with errors. We hope not, but it'll be a great game with Duffy, and I'll be back to talk more about it in a minute.
Hi, Texaco asked me to show you some little things you can do to save on fuel oil costs this winter. For example, have your heating system checked once a year. Turn your thermostat down at night when you go to bed. Check for weather stripping leaks and install storm windows if you can. And keep the damper in your fireplace closed when you're not using it. Energy is valuable. Please don't waste it.
His face is engraved on the dollar bill and carved into a mountainside. He is an American legend, but he was also a man with human failings, a man a war would push into a personal crisis and who would emerge to become the great leader who would turn the world upside down. Tuesday, November 27th at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central Time on ABC. Texaco presents The American Heritage, The World Turned Upside Down, the dramatic story of George Washington.
Referee Gene Calhoun has indicated that Ohio State has won the toss here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and they have elected to receive. It is Michigan in the blue jerseys, their colors being maize and blue, Ohio State in the scarlet and gray and white, ranked number 1 in the nation. 9 victories, no defeats. Michigan, 10 victories, no defeats. Let's listen to Gene Calhoun. Well, that's a pretty good thing to say, good luck. And wherever you are, get comfortable because this is the first of 2 big ones here on ABC this afternoon, live and in color. Immediately following with the scoreboard show, of course, will be SC and UCLA from the Coliseum in Los Angeles, ranked numbers 9 and 8. And the winner there will go into the Rose Bowl against the winner of this game on New Year's Day. Here's Ohio State, and here are the folks that are up front. Huggage, number 80, along with Shoemaker, Kriegel, Myers, Mack, Hicks, and David Hazel. While in the backfield, Woody Hayes, one of the great coaches, 23rd year at Ohio State, has Green, Griffin, Bashnagel, and Elia. Elia, a former linebacker, and Duffy Doherty, there are a lot of Buckeyes painted on the helmets of Ohio State.
Well, that's for excellence, doing something above and beyond the call of duty.
All right, Michigan will be kicking off. It'll be Mike Lantry. We have 3 men going deep for Ohio State, but number 1 is that man. Number 45, Archie Griffin, possibly the greatest back in the country. Who knows?
If they're smart, if the Wolverines are smart, they won't kick the ball to Archie Griffin on the kickoff return.
105,223, the largest crowd ever to see a college football game on a college campus. The fog is practically lifted now here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And here's the kick by Lantry of Michigan, and he gets all his muscle into it. It's a touchback, and listen to the home fans.
I think Lantry's adrenaline glands are working overtime.
So now for Ohio State, it'll come out to the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Ohio State, a team that has averaged 36 points. Michigan has averaged 32. They are numbers 1 and 2 in scoring defense in the nation. Ohio State, number 1. Less than 5 points per game allowed to the opponents, while Michigan has allowed 5.8. What a week of football, Duffy, and here we are. Coming number 7 is Green. Number 48 is Bashnagel. Brian Bashnagel to the near side from the eye, from the 20. And it's a loss. Tacked on Archie Griffin. Archie Griffin, number 45, was hit by number 35, Don Dufek, a native of Ann Arbor, Michigan, and playing for the Wolverines. So the loss is back to the 14. Duffy, I can't believe it. First play is second down and 16.
Dufek's the Wolfman, the son of that great fullback from Michigan of yesteryear, Don Dufek.
Right. All right, Ohio State in the white jerseys. There you see Ohio State's record, 9 victories. Look how they shut out folks, 4 of them. And now, a couple of yard gain by Archie Griffin, who is a sophomore from Columbus, Ohio. He gets it back across the 15, maybe to the 16, but Gene Calhoun, the referee, will be spotting it very soon for us here at Ann Arbor.
There's the season record of the two teams. Michigan beat Iowa 31-7, Stanford 47-10, Navy 14-0, Oregon 24-0. We'll finish this later on. Beat the Spartans 31-0.
Okay, now it's third down and 13. Big play for the Ohio State Buckeyes, ranked number 1 in the country. After about a minute and 10 seconds of play, it'll be punting time for the Ohio State Buckeyes with a 4th down coming up. Let's isolate on Strinko, who made the tackle, joined by Davis and Coleman.
Here's Michigan's finest linebacker, Strinka. Big rangy player, a hard hitter. He sheds that blocker, steps aside, and tackles Archie Griffin, stops him short of a 1st down.
All right, now it's 4th down and 8 here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, in the battle for the national championship, the Big Ten, the Rose Bowl, and what have you, and a lot of pride. Back to punt now. We have Ted Skorlamny, and to get the ball is Dave Brown, and that's a good idea because Brown and Chapman were deep. They both can return kicks beautifully. So Michigan has great field position at the 47-yard line following a short 32-yard punt. Here's the lineup. Duffy up front, Johnson, Tucker, Hoban, Franks, Metz, Coote, and Seal. Seal is 6 foot 6 inches tall. Dennis Franklin. Number 9 is the quarterback with Shuttlesworth, Chapman, Hazelrig. There they are, 9:31, 24, 43. No score. We've had the first series, first possession, and that was by Ohio State. Now Michigan gets its first opportunity from its own 47. Franklin. And there's one of those anxious moments that we talked about when teams are fired up and they want to do so well. Sometimes they almost, without knowing it, make errors. But number 24, Gil Chapman, was able to hang on to the ball.
It's difficult to run the option against Ohio State because they use 3 linebackers, and they have great speed and great pursuit. Probably the finest set of linebackers of any team in the country. Michigan's enjoying great field position right here. They have always capitalized on this during the year.
At halftime, on Coach's Corner, it'll be Notre Dame's winning coach, Ara Parsegan. He's up here in the booth watching this game, and he's really impressed with the enthusiasm as we have a 2nd and 9. And across midfield, it's Gil Chapman. Chapman, a loose ball. And it appears that Ohio State caught it in midair. A Buckeye, I believe, pulled it out of midair. It may have been number 24, Rick Parsons, of Cayuga Falls, Ohio. A junior has taken over for Ohio State on a fumble recovery at his own 40. We'll be back.
Christmas is here. This year, Goodyear presents its newest album, The Many Moods of Christmas. This is a collection of 14 classic Christmas songs in one record by some of the most outstanding artists of our time. Ella Fitzgerald, Tony Bennett, Joe Stafford, Barbara Streisand, Pat Boone, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Tex Beneke in the Glenn Miller style, Doris Day, Pete Fountain, Bing Crosby, Julie Andrews, Andy Williams. Many Moods of Christmas, a limited edition collector's item for just $1.25.
Now at participating Goodyear dealers and all Goodyear stores, the Many Moods of Christmas.
Here before the largest crowd in college history, Gil Chapman of Michigan has just fumbled. Ohio State's Parsons recovered after Colsey had batted it for the Buckeyes. So, Ohio State has it at its own 41st and 10, and number 36, a former linebacker from Cliffside Park, New Jersey, Aaliyah, 6'1", 212, Bruce Aaliyah carried on the play out to the 46 for the longest gain thus far, Duffy.
Michigan slants their defensive line on almost every play, and that time the center kept his block, and Ilya cut back and found a nice hole.
Bashnagel, number 48, is a flanker to the far side. Split this way is Bartasek. Second down and 4. And this is what we were talking about. In the tension of this game, the build-up that's been going on for 1 year, Cornelius Green, however, recovers his own fumble, but he loses 2 yards to the 44, Duffy.
It will take several minutes for these finely poised players to settle down and start playing good, sound football. These teams don't fumble very often, and they certainly don't make many mistakes.
Those Buckeyes on the helmets indicate that they've been honored for superior or excellent play. So here we go with a 3rd and 6. Ohio State took the opening kickoff and had the punt on 4th down. Here's Green, and they're going to, it appears, have to do it again near midfield. Walt Williamson, defensively, of Traverse City, Michigan, as we look at Woody Hayes, who, Duffy, does he have a violent temper?
Well, I don't say that Woody has a violent temper, but he holds the Meeton Fieldhouse record for throwing yard markers. But Woody's a great guy, very intense, and teams are always well disciplined. They should call him General Woodrow Hayes. He's a student of military history.
Skladaney, whose dad was a great football player at Pittsburgh, is about to punt for the 2nd time Ohio State. Dave Brown is deep. 24 Chapman is back there, too. This is Brown, who can return punts. However, good kick coverage by the Buckeyes. A 34-yard punt, returned only 4. So now, the Wolverines, who got it on the last punt at their own 47 now, will have to try to work it this time from their own 21. First to get down on the kick coverage was Morris Bradshaw of Edwardsville, Illinois.
Ohio State also used the 5-man front, but they don't do the stunning. Once in a while they'll stunt, but they play it pretty straight. They play a little different concept of defense in Michigan.
In the backfield, Franklin 9, 31 Shuttlesworth, Chapman 24, Hazelrig number 43. Look at that defense. In on the play, number 62, Vic Cagle, one of the 3 great linebackers that Duffy mentioned earlier. He was in on Chuck Heater.
This is a remarkable statistic. Michigan scored 86 points the first quarter, Ohio State 60, and their opponents have been shut out. That's probably unheard of, and certainly in Big Ten annals.
Duffy Beauchamp-Blackler is putting in some substitutes in the backfield. He now has Gustafson, number 48, in at wingback. Heater, number 44, instead of Chapman. Right now they have a 2nd down and 8. And there goes the veteran, Shuttlesworth. Shuttlesworth, who has averaged nearly 4 points per carry, accumulating 630 yards, really goes as Gradishar makes the tackle.
Let's watch Randy Gradishar, considered probably the premier linebacker in the country. He takes on this offensive guard, sheds him, cuts back, takes on Shuttlesworth, and hauls him to the ground. But he's so powerful, he even hauled Gradishar for 2 or 3 extra yards.
That is the initial first down of the game. Imagine, with 9 minutes, 41 seconds remaining in the first quarter, there is no score. Hazelrig is back in the lineup, number 43 to the far side on a 1st and 10 from the 32. Shuttlesworth again, and the Wolverines are riddling the Ohio State front wall and the linebackers here in the 2nd series. When the Michigan got it on the first punt, they fumbled and it was recovered by Parsons. So now coming into the lineup, number 27, Keith Johnson, one of the split ends.
Look at nationally how they rank. Ohio State's 1st in scoring defense, 3rd in total defense, and 3rd in pass defense.
All right, Johnson is set away to the far side on a 2nd down and 3. Franklin. First down, Michigan at the 45. Shuttlesworth. He is from Cincinnati, Ohio. As Randy Gradishar, the All-American, was in on the play for the Buckeyes.
Here's the 3rd straight tackle that Randy Gradishar has made. They're running away from Gradishar. He's the off linebacker. He's moving laterally to his right. I think the game plan is to run at Middleton. He's not quite as heavy and powerful. He's also an excellent linebacker, however.
Hearing the victors in the background, the Michigan song, it'll be saluted at halftime by the Michigan band, one of the greatest in the country. On a 1st and 10, that was Chuck Heater of Tiffin, Ohio, that went through, and at midfield, Gradishar again on the play.
It's obvious that the game strategy of both teams is to run right at the other, and this is what they've done all year. Both teams have done this very successfully, and they're not about to change.
No passes as yet, and we have 8 minutes, 16 seconds remaining in the first quarter. There is no score. Buckeyes, number 1. Michigan with the ball, number 4. 2nd and 4 now at the 49 of Ohio State. And Heater is stalled. In fact, hit awfully hard by Pete Cusick of Lakewood, Ohio, a junior, defensive right tackle, a good one, plenty of size, the kind that make Errol Parsegan smile, 6'2", 244 pounds. We mention Errol because he'll be on at Coach's Corner halftime as we look at Bo Schembechler, whom Errol knows quite well.
Here's a big play now for Bo and his Wolverines. 3rd and 5. If they're going to keep from punting and maintain position of the ball, they must make this first down.
Right, it's 3rd down and 5. 7:32 to go, first quarter, no score. Franklin wants to go to the air for the first time today. Oh, it's knocked away beautifully by number 42 of Ohio State, Arnie Jones, the defensive left tackle from Dayton, Ohio, a 6-footer, but he got his hand on it. It was intended for the fullback Shuttlesworth, so it brings up a 4th down and 5.
Notice that number of Jones, 42. He must have been a backfield man converted to tackle. I'm sure he possesses outstanding speed. Here's Bo Schembechler at Michigan. He's at 148 and lost only 6 games. He's ranked in the top 10 every season.
Barry Dotzar is back to punt, and here's one of the country's finest kick returners, Neil Colsey. Averages 17 yards on punts. He has 3 men in front of him. Here he comes. But the Michigan kick coverage was great.
There he goes, too.
So they'll try to move it from their own 23, and we'll be back to see it in a minute.
Once upon a time, there was the Track 2 and the Schick Super 2. Now, Track 2 got a fast start, but the Schick Super 2 took its time. The Schick Super 2 was also made to fit all twin-bladed razors, but with super chromium edges for super safe shaves. And now that the Schick Super 2 has all that going for it, who would you put your money on?
In Sweden, a man has to learn to live with winter. And that's why the simple pleasures mean more to a man. Like this new Borkum Riff rum-flavored tobacco. A richer, tastier smoke. New rum-flavored Borkum Riff. One of life's simple pleasures.
105,223, a record crowd to watch a college football game on this very beautiful campus in Ann Arbor, the University of Michigan. And I'm impressed because it's the first time I've had a chance to come here, Duffy Doherty. And I was impressed at Columbus last year when these two teams met, and Michigan was upset by Ohio State, went to the Rose Bowl, and now here they are, 365 days later, going at each other. There's no score, 7:18 to go, first quarter, after a punt. Ohio State has it at the 22. Nick at the 23. Elia, the fullback, number 36 carried. Don Warner, in at middle linebacker, number 54 from Dearborn, Michigan, made the stop at the 26.
You're going to see a lot of that type of attack running right over John Hicks, that All-American lineman, number 74 of the Buckeyes. Probably the finest offensive lineman in the country.
Now going to the far side, that is Dave Hazel, number 82, is a split end. Ohio State has yet to pass, 2nd and 7. That is Archie Griffin, number 45, only 5 feet 9, squirms, moves like a worm, and Don Coleman, number 39 of Daly City, California, the defensive right end, made the stop at the 30. It'll be a 3rd down and 3, Duffy.
That is a successful play when you have the ball control type of offensive concept. All they need now is get the same yardage and they'll have a first down. There's Bo Schembechler, that very intense coach from the Wolverines. He's almost like Woody as far as intensity.
All right. In at tight end, number 85, John Smyrda of Allentown, Pennsylvania, number 85. And defensively, it's Williamson, Perlinger, Strinko, Warner, Russ, Gallagher, Coleman, Dunsar, Brown, Duffick, along with Burks for the Wolverines. It'll be a 3rd and 3, and we'll be back after this message.
History will record that it appeared late in the year 1973. It came leading the people out of the land of the ordinary car. It came with the eye of an eagle, the heart of a lion, the face of a Laguna. And all who came with it were surrounded by things pleasing to the eye, the ear, the touch.
a 74 Chevelle Laguna Type S3 by Chevrolet. Come with us.
Hi. Want to see something great? Meet the 74 Malibu Classic. It's the really something new Chevelle model by Chevrolet. It looks classic and feels nice, comfortable and considerate. I think it really looks elegant. But what I really like best about the new Chevelle Malibu Classic is driving it.
We're beyond the halfway point of the first quarter. There's no score. 6:12 to go. Ohio State in white, Michigan in the dark jerseys. It'll be a 3rd down and 3 for Ohio State. Ohio State has 18 yards gained thus far. Michigan has 39. What a titanic battle. Here's Green now, giving to Griffin. Griffin gets away, tries to get outside, but look at the pursuit of the Wolverine defense. Don Coleman, Strinko, 59, in on the play. There's a loss now, back to the 27. The second time that the defense has thrown him for a loss.
Let's watch Strinko, number 59. Watch him move out, way out to the flat. He's got outstanding speed for a big linebacker. Here he goes, big, long, striding individual. He's got some help from some teammates, but Strinko's the one who gets in and makes the first contact.
Skodany punting for the 3rd time. In 9 games, they had only punted 32 times coming into this one. Gil Chapman now. Number 24 has it at the 30. Battling as a marker goes down. Let's see if we have a clip.
I think there was a clip. I'm quite sure there was. It looked like it was just a little bit from behind.
Skodany kicked beautifully, 48 yards. A 7-yard return as Mark Straka, who snapped the ball, made the tackle a clip against the Wolverines. Gene Calhoun is the referee here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Frank Strocia, Norman Kragseth, John Olson, George Sladke, and William Kingsat, who are officiating one of the most important games of the year. There's Gene Calhoun.
Here we'll see the clip now. Chap, right at the upper left-hand part of your screen, you'll see the clip on the coverage. Chapman, right in front of Chapman, right there. There's the clip. It was obviously a block from behind. A good call.
The penalty puts Michigan back at the 16, first down, and Shuttlesworth, who has the most yardage today of any player, number 31 of Cincinnati, brings it out, stopped by Rich Parsons, number 24, another native of Ohio. Bring it out. Let's see where Gene Calhoun has spotted the ball. It's just beyond the 23. Let's call it the 24. A pickup of 8 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 2 with 4:57 to go, first quarter.
Look for the same play, Chris, because Bo likes to keep going with things that are successful for him.
Shuttlesworth with 30 yards, more than the entire Ohio State team on 4 carries. Shuttlesworth again. This time, Arnie Jones, number 42, that speedy lineman that Duffy was talking about earlier, allows no gain on the play. So it'll be a 3rd down and 2. And let's take a look at Jones.
Here we have Jones, number 42. Very quick. He's not very big, but he's quick. He shoots the gap in between guard and tackle, and he's right there waiting for Big Ed Shuttlesworth. They probably sensed, Chris, that they were going to come back with that same play.
I have to give him more credit. He threw him for a loss of a yard, so it'll be 3rd down and 3. At the 23 now, no score in the game. Johnson and Hazelrig set away, but Chuck Heater keeps it on the ground, and let's see if he got the first down. It's going to be really close. So close that I'm not going to venture.
I'll say that he made it by 6 inches.
Well, you always did gamble against these two teams.
That's right.
And you won.
Much to my misfortune a lot of times.
All right. And Duffy, you were so right. 2020. Don Metz, the right guard offensively, blocked beautifully to help on making that first down.
Here we see Jones again making a fine defensive play. He takes on the offensive right guard. He uses his hands very well, moves in and makes the tackle. However, Heater's a rugged, tough-nosed, hard-nosed runner and picks up the first down.
Gustafson to the far side, 1st and 10 from the 27. Shuttlesworth for a couple of yards, and again, Arnie Jones got down there low. There you see him getting up to help trip him up.
Speaking of how intense Bo Schembechler is, he said the other day that this is not a matter of life and death. It's strictly a game. It's just a game. He said, however, if we do lose, I'm not going to kill myself, but I might kill somebody else. That should tell you something.
Normally, in the Big Ten, they only need give their opponents 2,500 tickets to a game. But they were very generous and gave Ohio State 12,000. You can be sure that they're all used as it's a sellout. 105,000 over that as Franklin threw his second pass, also incomplete, intended for Paul Seal, the tight end from Detroit, number 83. Rich Parsons at 5'11" was covering on the play.
These two teams are almost carbon copies. Look at Ohio State's gained over 3,300 yards. Michigan's gained 3,000 yards passing. Michigan has the edge by a couple of hundred yards. Total yards, they're within 150 yards of one another. First downs are almost even. That's remarkable. Two outstanding Big Ten teams.
All right, now we have 43, Hazelrig. We have two wingbacks coming to, whoops, one comes out of the lineup now. Gustafson is out, Hazelrig is in, third down and 8. The pass is to Hazelrig, number 43. Up to the 40, and it's an 11-yard gain, the longest of the afternoon. First down.
Here we have Hazelrig, probably the most explosive receiver on the Michigan team. He runs a simple curl pattern. He's wide open. The ball is extremely well thrown by Franklin. Hazelrig makes a fine catch. He goes up in the air and takes it, hangs onto it when he's hit hard by Parsons.
Greg Denboer, number 83, is in the lineup. Two tight ends, although they flank a man to the far side. That is 27, Keith Johnson. We have a first and 10 at the 41. And Chuck Peter, number 44 of Tiffin, Ohio, carried out to about the 44. The NCAA is an organization of over 700 member institution which enforces a strict code of rules and regulations, publishes rules and guidebooks, and conducts championship competition in 18 sports. And speaking of championships, 32 this year, beginning with cross country in November and ending with golf in June.
This is a remarkable stat right here. 5 first downs for Michigan and none for the Buckeyes.
All right. Last time they looked, the Buckeyes had 18 yards. Number 43, this is Hazelrig, trying to come back and get outside. But that Ohio State defense, they're too smart. Steve Luke, number 46 of Massillon, a junior, in on the play for the Buckeyes, and the ball is spotted. Let's see, at the 45, a gain of 1. It's a third down and 6 for Michigan. No score, 1:42 to go.
Last year against almost the same Buckeye defenses, and they're stronger this year, but we felt to sustain a drive, we had to move right at them. We could not run wide.
Michigan has converted 2 of 3 third downs. Here's another try. Franklin, third pass of the game. Well, there's the resourcefulness of these two great college football teams. It worked best, however, for Ohio State as they make the play right at the line of scrimmage. It's a punting situation. The second for Michigan now. Fourth down and 6. 4th and 7, Nick, from the 44.
Gradisher slowed Franklin down just enough in that play for Fox to come up and make the tackle to save the first down.
Excuse me, this is only the second Michigan punt. They lost the ball on a fumble after their first possession. Neil Colsey is back, awaiting Dotzauer's kick. 56 yards. The ball goes into the end zone. The wind today, 12 to 20 mile per hour gusts, and it's coming from right to left, so undoubtedly the wind helped the kick a bit, not to take anything away from Dotzauer. Now, bowl games here on ABC, starting with December 17th, Duffy, Kansas versus North Carolina State in Memphis. On the 29th, the Bluebonnet Bowl, Houston-Tulane. The Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Texas Tech versus Tennessee on December 29th, and on the December 31st, New Year's Eve, Notre Dame, Alabama.
At 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
And Errol Parsegian is on Coach's Corner today. Ohio State with the ball from its own 20. First and 10. Archie Griffin carried on the play. And he got good yardage in this type of game anyway, as it came out to the 25.
Let's take a look now at this fine tackle, number 74. Watch Hicks block. He gets off the line. He explodes when he hits the defensive end. He buries him. He buries him right on top of him. Gives Archie Griffin some running room. Picks up the 5 or 6 yards.
All right, it's second down and 5. Ohio State in the white jerseys. Green giving off to Griffin again, who gets 3 more yards. Strinko, back-to-back tackles for the Michigan defense. He's a junior from Middletown, Ohio, 6'3", 235, playing a linebacker position for Bo Schembechler. So now with the ball at the 28. When we come back, it'll be 3rd down and 2, and it'll be the first snap of the second quarter, no score.
When you save your money at a savings and loan, your money does more than just grow. A savings and loan lends out money for homes, and that helps communities grow. We're doing a lot for America, and we want to do more. Yoko Battery! After lots of time and lots of miles, you get to know your car. You want it to be trouble-free, no matter where you are. That's why you'll find the Delco sign everywhere you go. For easy starts and quality parts, it's the name to know. Well, the more you know. Delco! The more you want Delco.
Delco.
The more you know.
Delco battery.
The more you want Delco.
Fuel shortages hurt. Travel's cut to the core.
Now we sell by long distance.
Don't get around much anymore. Close the deal in L.A.
Bid a job in Bangor.
Now we sell by long distance.
With long distance, you can still get around and save money, too. It's the next best thing to being there.
Number 59 is linebacker Steve Strinko, Duffy, on his last play.
Strinko and Gradisher have both been outstanding. Here's Strinko coming in, and that was a big play because if he hadn't made the tackle, Griffin had a lot of running room ahead of him.
Now Ohio State will try to convert on its third down. They have yet to make one, so here it is, 3rd and 2. Griffin, first down for the Buckeyes, and there goes Griffin. What a player. Dave Brown saved 6 points, 38-yard gain, the longest thus far, as Ohio State is at its deepest spot. Just before this, they had gotten to their own 49. With the first snap of the second quarter, Duffy, they now have gone to the 34 of Michigan.
Let's watch Hicks again take on the Michigan tackle. He stays with him downfield. That's the mark. That's the one, the block that put it in. Now this is great running, too, by Griffin.
All right, at the Michigan 34, first down, and coming right back, as these two field generals often do, Schembechler and Woody Hayes, it is Griffin that carried. Dave Elliott, who happens to be Pete Elliott's son, made the tackle.
Incidentally, that run was the first down for Ohio State in this game.
Yes.
It came at a very opportune time.
So now it's a 2nd down and 4. As the Buckeyes have come alive. There's no score with about 14 minutes to go in the first half. Green hands off to Bruce Elia, with Champ Henson out of the lineup because of an injury. Elia was brought out of the linebacking core.
Let's take a look at these stats. So far, the first quarter, Michigan's dominated the game a little bit, 53 yards rushing to 23. That'll be upgraded here in a minute when we put on that 38-yard run. Yards passing, Michigan 12-0.
Now, another third for Ohio State, 3rd and 1 at the Michigan 25. Bashnagel to the far side of the field. It's the I formation behind Cornelius Green. And Griffin converts for the second time for the Buckeyes. Strinko and Brown on the tackle as Griffin goes to the 20 of the Wolverines.
I can see why Woody Hayes is so high on Archie Griffin. He changed direction there right in a split second, the line of scrimmage. He's got great balance and just an outstanding back.
Up until Griffin popped one on the first play of the second quarter, and I think Ohio State had about 18 yards. Griffin now has carried the ball 10 times for 60 yards. So from the 20 now, first down. 13 minutes left in the first half, no score. No gain by Bruce Elia.
You'll find that Davis, the middle guard, just before the snap of the ball, moved to the strong side of the formation because Ohio State has had a tendency to run to the strong side of the formation, and he stopped the play for practically no gain.
All right. Defensively, they expect a sweep as we have a 2nd down And we'll still call it 10. They lost a half a yard. And number 71, Dave Gallagher of Piqua, Ohio, a co-captain, was in on the play. And they lost another half yard, so this time it's back to the 21, a full yard, so we'll make it 3rd down and 11 with 12 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in the first half. There's no score. The deepest penetration that the Buckeyes have had has been the Ohio State 48. At what spot they fumbled, it was recovered by the Buckeyes. But the Buckeyes have punted 3 times. Michigan has punted 2 times. So we have similar type football strategy being unfolded here at Michigan Stadium today before a record crowd as the Buckeyes call for a timeout. Let's take a break.
This is Aliceville, Alabama. You'd think cotton is about all you can grow in a hot country like this. But Lamar Cantley is one man who knows better. He's one of Weyerhaeuser's woods managers. His whole life is wrapped up in trees, growing on 460,000 acres in the South. The Aliceville Nursery is part of his job, where 13 million loblolly pine seedlings are grown each year. They'll become the 3rd generation forest, fast growers that'll be as tall as Lamar in just 3 years. Lamar Cantley, one of the great foresters of the South. Next time you're in Aliceville, stop and have a cool one in the shade of a Lamar Cantley pine. Weyerhaeuser, the tree-growing company.
The Ohio State Band of Brakewood. They'll be entertaining at halftime along with the Wolverine Band. 2 of the finest in the country. Of course, 2 of the finest teams are on the field, and we have no score with 11:57 to go in the first half. It'll be a 3rd down and 11 now for the Buckeyes at the 21. Cornelius Green. He's been a great runner as a sophomore. A native of Washington, D.C. is a spirited quarterback. He's gained 643 yards in a total of 9 games coming into this one. And he gets the ball to the, where did they spot it? The 14. So it's going to be a 4th down and 3. And I think the Buckeyes will try to get on the scoreboard first by way of a field goal. You just saw Woody Hayes. The field goal attempt will be done by Blair Conway of Middleburg Heights, Ohio. Here's the kick. It is up. And it's good. A 30-yarder. That was beautiful. So now Conway is 8 of 11, and for the first time we have points on the scoreboard. 3-0. Ohio State with 11:04 to go in the first half. Following this game, it'll be number 8 ranked UCLA going against USC ranked number 9, the defending national champions, as they battle for the other spot in the Rose Bowl New Year's Day. That game will start at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. So here on ABC in one day, the 2 winners will be determined. It will go into the Rose Bowl, the oldest of the bowl games. And this week has been something. Thanksgiving Day, Notre Dame, Downing Air Force to remain undefeated. Alabama remaining undefeated with a victory over LSU and Baton Rouge, and it'll be Notre Dame, Alabama. New Year's Eve, December 31st, in the Sugar Bowl, New Orleans, Louisiana. Sclodani kicking off to Michigan following a 30-yard field goal. And this is Gil Chapman coming out to the 10, the 15. Tries to get outside, does so. 20, 25, 30, gets the blocking, goes across field. And a pair of 24s collide. Parsons, who recovered a fumble earlier in the game, saved 6 points. Rich Parsons, after a 74-yard run by Gil Chapman. And Bo Schembechler has to be restrained. And a player, a Buckeye, is injured to our left. Sclodani, the kicker, it appears.
There's a flag on the play, Chris. I think here's a flag. Let's watch this return again. Chapman is the breakaway runner for Michigan. He's got outstanding speed. There's a good block. There's the clip right there, I believe, on number 40. Is that on 45? Here's Conway saving what could have been a touchdown. I believe the play will be called back for the 15-yard penalty of set.
And, of course, this is a tough break because here is a very, very fine kicker. And the kicking game could very easily decide this. Up to this point, the kicking game has decided the score. 3-0. It was Conway, the field goal kicker for the Buckeyes, that put the 3 points on it a few moments ago. They're still administering to Skladany down here between the 20 and 25. And Duffy, that's always a hard break, and when the pressure is on, we all know we lose our temper most easily when the pressure is there and when something means so very, very much.
Well, football is a game of intensity, and it's a game of emotion, and you can't escape from that fact, especially these two teams have so much at stake. They're fighting not only for the Big Ten championship, hopefully for the national championship, and certainly a place in that prestigious Rose Bowl game against either USC or Southern or UCLA.
The freshman punter, kicker, there he is. Tom Skladany of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. As we indicated earlier, his dad was a fine player at Pittsburgh. He's being helped off the field, and we hope he'll be okay. We'll get a further report on him at our first opportunity from our colleague Bill Fleming. And it's undoubtedly a leg, ligaments perhaps. 10:49 to go in the first half. Ohio State is in the lead by a score of 3-0. So the great return of the kick by Skladany of 74 yards nullified as a result of the penalty. So now the Wolverines have it at their own 12, 1st and 10. And that's a tough spot to move it from as the infantry goes to work. That was Ed Shuttlesworth, who gained 630 yards on the season coming into this game. Rick Middletown of Delaware, Ohio, the right linebacker, made the stop. And there you see on the Ohio State bench, Skladany, they're checking his leg. Again on the play, out to the 14, it'll be 2nd down and 8. You just joined us, we have 10:21 to go, first half. Ohio State leads Michigan 3-0. Gustafson to the far side for Michigan in the dark jersey. Franklin, the quarterback. Chapman has his wind back now, and he carried on the play following a long return of a kick and brings it out to the 26 yards, and will be 3rd down and 2. Bob Cusick, number 71, making the play. Correction, the ball is marked now at the 19, so it'll be 3rd down and 3.
They might fake the ball to Shuttlesworth here and try to run an option. 3 yards would be a little long for giving the ball to the fullback at this point.
Michigan's deepest penetration has been the Ohio State 49. And going for the first down was Chapman as Vic Cagle, number 62, down underneath. And let's see where they spot it. Didn't make it, short by about 1.5 yards. So it'll be a 4th down, 1.5 to go. A few moments ago, Ohio State kicked a 30-yard field goal to take the lead 3-0. And now following the kick, Michigan must punt.
Ohio State has gained 24 times as many yards on punt returns as their opponent. I've never heard of a stat like this before.
Neil Colsey, a key man in the secondary, as well as returning kicks is deep. Barry Dotzauer's punt for Michigan is back here. This is Colsey, number 20. Colsey is one of those players that has scored a touchdown on a punt return, a touchdown on a kickoff return, and on an interception all this year. We'll be back.
Texaco is proud to announce a fantastic new mileage ingredient. You. Yes, you. Because the way you drive can do more to give you better mileage than any additive ever could. For example, drive at a moderate speed, because if you speed along at 7 instead of 50, you use about 25% more gasoline. And avoid jackrabbit stops and starts. If you take it slow and easy, on the average, you can get an extra 2 miles per gallon in city traffic. Form carpools. 2 or 3 can drive as cheaply as 1, you know. And turn your air conditioner off when you don't need it. That can give you about 10% better mileage. Remember, you're the best mileage ingredient you can put in your car, and you don't cost a penny extra.
The report from the sidelines of the Ohio State side of the field is that Splendini, they fear, may have broken his ankle on that play, on that brilliant return. Okay, back to you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Bill Fleming. On an overcast afternoon, 8:51 to go in the first half. Ohio State 3, Michigan nothing. Ohio State with the ball at the Michigan 42. On a first down play, number 33, Pete Johnson, a freshman fullback, replacing Ilya on that play at least, moves to about the 37, a gain of 5 yards.
For the last 4 years, these have been remarkably close games. In 69, Michigan won 24-12. In 70, Ohio State won 20-9. Michigan won in 71, 10-7. In 1972, it was the Buckeyes 14 and Michigan 11. They've traded turns to the Rose Bowl.
Ohio State has shut out 4 opponents: Wisconsin, Northwestern Illinois, Michigan State. The Wolverines 3 as Green tries to get yardage, and today against the Wolverines is having a lot of trouble. Carl Russ, back-to-back tackles. He's from Muskegon Heights, Michigan, playing for the Wolverines, number 33.
That was a slow-hitting option. It didn't develop very rapidly, and if you're going to run wide on these teams, you've got to get there in a hurry because they both pursue.
Woody Hayes has said this, as you see it, this is the greatest rivalry in football. You agree, Duffy?
I'll discuss that later on. There are a lot of great rivalries. It's certainly one of them. All right.
And third down and 3 play. Griffin carried it, but Tim Davis denied him the first down. A loss on the play. Back to the 36. It's 4th down and 4. Now what, Duffy?
They'll just try to dump the ball down inside the 20 and down it. They won't try to kick it into the end zone.
With the wind to their back, why don't they try a field goal?
Their field goal kicker can't kick it that far, I don't believe.
Well, he'd get 10 more yards from this wind that's gusting up to 20 miles an hour.
He's just going to dump the ball and try to drop it down inside the 10-yard line.
Bad call.
It's easy.
They should kick a
there,
field
there
goal, Duffy. Bartosik of Erie, Pennsylvania, does that, and of course, that's one of the real great weapons when it turns out like that. No, or did he? No, he got it out of bounds. Not bad. At the 11-yard line. We had one in the Alabama game, Duffy, that was really in the coffin corner.
It's a lost art in football. It should return to the game. It's a great part of football.
Bo Schembeckler on the telephone. College basketball starts this weekend, and for the 8th straight year, the question is, can the fabulous UCLA Bruins repeat? We won't know that until the NCAA Finals at the Greensboro Coliseum, March 25th. Catch an opener this weekend and plan to see NCAA basketball often this winter. Now from the 11-yard line, Michigan with the ball. Chapman. It looked as though he was going to get a big gainer. But that defense of Ohio State filled beautifully. At about the 17, Tim Fox, number 12 of Canton, Ohio, made the stop at the 17, allowing a 6-yard gain. 2nd and 4.
It'll be Katie bar the doors if he ever gets out in the open. He can certainly run, Chapman.
Well, he's got a lot of speed. He missed last week's Purdue game because of a groin injury, but he appears well healed now. There he is again with that Ohio State defense. Best in the country against scoring. Stops him short of the 20. Duffy?
That's right. And if some teams build their team offensively and some teams build them defensively, both of these teams build their teams defensively. They have the theory that before you can win a football game, you have to keep them losing it. And that's pretty true. That's very apt.
In other words, these two coaches have the same philosophy?
Well, I think pretty much so. I think that they do on offense and defense. We'll talk about that later on.
Okay.
They're great coaches.
Now, Michigan needs about 1.5 yards for a first down. On 3rd down, here is Chapman trying it. His feet are up to the point, but not the ball.
That's the all-important thing. The point of the ball is what counts.
That's a tough break. He was upended, and normally the front part of the body and the ball would have been where his feet were.
That was a good tackle.
That's like a breech birth. Isn't that what happens?
I would say that his progress was rudely interrupted.
Okay. No gains. It'll be 4th down.
You're talking about intense rivalries. This is one of the great rivalries in the country. However, I think there are others that will match it, like Notre Dame, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Southern Cal, Michigan State, Michigan, and Auburn, Alabama.
Barry Datzauer of Cincinnati playing for Michigan. Punts. Dennis Frank snaps the ball to him as Neil Colsey is back. Colsey, number 20, has it at his own 40, comes up to the 45, and is hit hard. A 40-yard punt. Gary Heinrihar of Cicero, Illinois, made the tackle, and it'll be Ohio State now, again getting good field position, trying to move it from their own 45. Following us at 4 Eastern Time for the other spot in the Rose Bowl, the defending national champions, Southern California Trojans against UCLA. All right, Green, number 7, the quarterback for the Buckeyes, gives to Griffin, number 45, and look at that second, third effort by Griffin as he moves the ball to the 48 of Michigan. Carl Russ on the tackle.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at two great players. Strinko has Griffin dead to rights here. He hits him with a good solid tackle right here, but that great determination and desire to go for a few more yards that Griffin possesses enable him to break the tackle and pick up an additional 4 yards.
Michigan has not lost a home game in more than 4 years. They trail right now 3-0 against number 1 Ohio State. Ohio State with the ball. Griffin gets the first down. Griffin is down to about the 42 for the Buckeyes.
The Michigan line have been anticipating the fact that Ohio State has run mostly to the tight end side, and once again the middle guard shifted to the strong side. That time Ohio State fooled them and went back to the weak side.
We've got 4 minutes to go in the first half. Griffin now has carried the ball 14 times. He has 72 yards. A native of Columbus, Ohio. Dashnagel, number 48, to the near side of the field, and a 1st and 10 from the 42 of Michigan. Archie Griffin, the sophomore, again showing his brilliance as Dave Brown comes up, a native of Akron, as we watch Dave Brown once more.
Here's Dave Brown, number 6. He caused the fumble in our game with Michigan last year, the go-ahead touchdown for us. He's a hard tackler, a sure tackler.
You remember such things.
I remember those things. I remember those fumbles, every one we ever had.
All right, now at the 35, it's going to be a 2nd down and 3. Ohio State leading 3-0 with 3 minutes, 15 seconds to go first half. Green to Griffin, first down and more. Archie Griffin, and let's not forget to compliment the line up front, the guards, the tackles, the blocking ends, and the backs. But Griffin is great. I don't mean to say that he isn't, but this is a great football team with a lot of balance that we're looking at.
I said earlier that Ohio State reputably has the finest offensive line in the country, and I'm beginning to be a believer.
The Michigan team has 82 yards. Griffin, number 45, has 93 yards. 1st and 10 now at the 23. Green gives it to freshman Pete Johnson. Do you realize that Woody Hayes has 6 seniors, Duffy Doherty?
I talked to Woody yesterday, and I said, Woody, you're only going to introduce 6 seniors. That means you're probably going to be around coaching for a couple more years. And he just laughed.
We have just received a medical report from the Ohio State bench. It's a bad sprain on the ankle of Skladany, the punter, Tom Skladany. They do not feel that it's broken, and that is good news. We're sorry he was injured, but perhaps he can overcome the sprain by his next game. Pete Johnson, number 33, carrying on the play on a 2nd and 4.
He's cutting the same mold of those great Ohio State fullbacks. I can see why Woody recruited him.
The thing is, they have so many, and some teams have so few. How can they get them all?
Well, good recruiting, and I think players like to go to Ohio State. They like to go to the winner.
How come the other 8 Big Ten teams have so few?
Let's talk about that later.
Okay.
All right, good. I'd like to discuss that.
Because we need more at Purdue, and you need more at Michigan State. 3rd down and 1. And there he is, Archie Griffin. Isn't he something? Out of the mold of Brad Davis, Tony Davis, whom you'll see later this afternoon for USC, Dave Elliott of Coral Gables, and Dave Brown make the stop at the 5. It's 1st and goal. And this is the deepest penetration that Ohio State has made, working it on the ground to the 5 of Michigan. With 1:24, the clock running, Michigan has 3 timeouts. Ohio State has 1. Now, from that beautiful straight T formation. Isn't that nice to see once in a while, Duffy?
Oh, you can bet your mortgage your house actually on the fact that when they get inside the 10 that Woody's going to go to that full house backfield. He utilizes all 10 men besides the quarterback as a blocker.
And get this, we have Elmer Lippert, 47, in at halfback. We have Pete Johnson, a freshman, at fullback in the T, along with, of course, Archie Griffin, number 45. As we said, Ohio State 1 timeout, Michigan with 3. Ohio State is in the lead by a score of 3-0. That clock is running. We've come down to 1 minute and 3 to go. A big halftime show coming up. And right now, a big play for the Buckeyes and the Wolverines. And the officials have not put up their arms. The Buckeyes have touchdown, says the linesman.
He had a lot of help in signaling that. The entire offensive line from the Buckeyes were sure it was a TD, and I guess they were right. They really moved that Michigan defensive line out of there.
And they consumed time on the clock, 55 yards in 8 plays, and it was a 5-yard touchdown carry by Pete Johnson, a freshman from Long Beach, New York.
He carried 2 tacklers on his back the final 3 yards.
So now they lead 9-0. His 3rd touchdown as a freshman for the Buckeyes. Now we have the point after attempt by Blair Conway. It's up. The kick is good, but a flag is down near the goal line.
The flag was against Michigan, and I'm sure the Buckeyes will decline the penalty.
He calls out number 32 of Ohio State. That's Middleton, one of the linebackers, and explains it to him. Rick Middleton, the senior and co-captain from Delaware, Ohio. That's Gene Calhoun, the referee. Offside against Michigan, declined, of course, and the point after attempt, good. And with 53 seconds to go here in the first half of a fast-moving ball game, number 1 ranked Ohio State leads number 4 ranked Michigan 10-0.
Life is filled with little bumps. But General Motors cars for 1974 face up to them beautifully. This Chevelle Laguna Type S3 from Chevrolet has a resilient front end that resists minor dents and dings. The GM energy-absorbing bumper on this 1974 Buick can take little bumps like this. And Pontiac's Grand Am has a squeezable nose you just won't believe. This new Oldsmobile has a hinged grille that swings back when the bumper gets bumped. And this 1974 Cadillac's bumper and grille move back and forth together upon minor impact. As you can see, General Motors builds bumper systems to look good and at the same time help protect your investment. And that goes for the rear as well as the front. We want you to drive what you like and like what you drive.
55 yards, 8 plays, a 5-yard touchdown by freshman Johnson. Point after good, but there was an offside penalty which is now assessed on the kick. It was against Michigan, so we have Blair Conway, because Squadani is injured, kicking off from not the 40 but the 45, a squib kick. Hard to handle, but it is very carefully taken in. It appeared to be one of the men on the kick team, Brizgadsky, at the 31. In addition to the 2 bands, as Michigan will salute the 75th anniversary of the great song Victors, it'll be played in various tempos, and the Ohio State Band, our guest in Coach's Corner will be Era Parsegan, as Era's team has 1 game to play, Miami, and then the Sugar Bowl meeting with undefeated Alabama. Thornblade is in at fullback. Dennis Franklin of Massillon, Ohio, Jr. on a keeper, carrying on the play. So from the 31, he gets it out to the 33, where it'll be a 2nd down and 8 coming up. Vic Cagle. Here's an interesting stat. In the first quarter, Michigan had 5 first downs, Ohio State none. In the second quarter, Ohio State 5, Michigan none. Bill Chapman, number 24. Carried on the play, stopped by Cagle again, number 62, and time is called, one of the 3 that Michigan has remaining. As you see, 12 seconds left on the clock, Michigan trailing 10-0.
The Michigan fans seem to be somewhat upset that Bo's not putting the ball in the air. I don't think that they realize that this is a very dangerous time to put the ball in the air.
Well, you recall, Duffy, last year they did. In fact, Franklin put it in the air 23 times, completing 13, and it was disastrous with some of the goal line happenings, however.
Well, they've got 30 more minutes in the second half, and I'm sure that Michigan will put the ball in the air the second half, and probably quite effectively.
All right, we have a 3rd down and 5 when play is resumed, and the largest crowd ever on a college campus to see a game. Get this, 105,223. They estimate they'll sell 26,000 hot dogs today, 3,000 gallons of coffee, and cocoa. All right, number 9, Franklin. He is close to a Michigan first down. Cagle again on the tackle, and what a linebacker. Time has expired, however. Didn't get time called quickly enough. So, at halftime, Ohio State, ranked number 1 in the nation, leads Michigan 10-0. You're watching another exclusive of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
Ohio State University is the principal center for undergraduate, graduate, and professional education in the state of Ohio. Founded in 1870, Ohio State's main campus is in Columbus, the state capital. 4 regional campuses at Lima, Mansfield, Marion, and Newark make instruction available in various areas of the state. Students at Ohio State number nearly 50,000, coming from every Ohio county, 49 states, and over 70 foreign countries. Ohio State is a comprehensive university, offering on one campus not only programs in the arts and sciences, but programs in all major professional fields. Its 16 colleges and graduate school offer some 250 individual study programs and nearly 8,000 courses. While proud of its traditionally fine athletic program, Ohio State is equally proud of its role in providing quality education to the youth of the nation. I'm Bill Fleming here on the sidelines of the Michigan Stadium, where the Ohio State Buckeyes hold a halftime lead of 10-0. We're coming to the climax of this 1973 season, and for the next moment or so, I'd like to tell you about a very important part of these NCAA telecasts. As you know, Chevrolet has been awarding scholarships to the offensive and defensive players of our game. These awards of $1,000 each go in the name of that player to their respective institutions for the general scholarship fund, not necessarily into athletics. It's up to those institutions to name the students who are needy at their discretion who are the recipients of these awards. So we at ABC Salute Chevrolet were very proud to be part of this, and of course today our ABC sportscasters, Chris Duffy and myself, will be voting on the outstanding offensive and defensive players of today's game. Then on the night of December the 17th at the Liberty Bowl, at halftime there, we're going to be presenting the Offensive and Defensive Senior Awards. Those are $5,000 scholarships awarded by the Chevrolet, and Mr. Robert M. O'Connor, the General Sales Manager of Chevrolet, will not only be there, but also here today following today's game to make those presentations. But right now, let's turn our thoughts to matters of music. This is the Great Ohio State Marching Band under the direction of Paul Drosty. We're hearing music from Leonard Bernstein's Mass, Jesus Christ Superstar, and Godspell. The offertory from Leonard Bernstein's Mass. Now here is Day by Day from Godspell. The precision drilling and the playing of the music Day by Day from Godspell by the Ohio State Marching Band. And now from Jesus Christ Superstar.
Remember,
Make a joyful noise. And, well, the Buckeyes can at this point of the ball game. With 30 minutes gone by, they're leading Michigan 10-0. The Ohio State Marching Band playing before the 105,000 plus here this afternoon. In 1973, for the 5th consecutive year, disadvantaged children had a more enjoyable summer because of a unique sports program sponsored by the nation's colleges in partnership with the federal government. The National Summer Youth Sports Program brought youngsters from ghetto areas onto college campuses and then used the interest gained by sports instruction and competition for other constructive purposes. The NSYSP cost the federal government only $3 million for a program spread across 105 campuses, 72 cities, and 36 states. The colleges almost matched that sum with contributions of $2.3 million in personnel and facilities. The NCAA administered the program without charge, using dollars generated by this television program to pay the cost. Well, here at halftime, the score is Ohio State 10, Michigan nothing. The Michigan band is poised to come out. We'll be back with that in just a moment.
No way you gonna beat Leroy one-on-one.
Oh, no? This time I'm going to psych him. I'm playing Leroy here on my card.
Why do some people think Bud is sort of special? Go ahead and find out why.
Gotcha. No sweat, Lee. Some things really take a guy's mind off of what he's been doing. Yeah.
Brewing beer right does make a difference.
Insurance is puzzling sometimes, but your State Farm agent can put it all together for you. An outstanding value in car insurance, low-cost coverage for your home, life insurance, coverage for your health. Everything fits together when all your family insurance needs are served by one man, your State Farm agent.
Just like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
40-acre University of Michigan campus, chartered in 1837, has now expanded to over 20,000 acres of land, including research facilities in Illinois and the Rocky Mountains. Approximately 225 acres of this land at Michigan is devoted to the program of physical exercise and recreation. This includes the Michigan Stadium, the world's largest college-owned stadium, and the new Chrysler Arena. In the fall of 1972, the total enrollment at Michigan was 41,000. During 71-72, a total of 10,000 degrees were awarded, and there are more than 254,000 alumni throughout the world. The U of M has a self-supporting intercollegiate athletic program. It fields teams in football, basketball, track and field, swimming, hockey, wrestling, golf, cross-country, gymnastics, tennis, and 6 intercollegiate sports for women. And of course today, the undefeated, untied Wolverine football team is playing Ohio State for the Big Ten Championship. Coming up now, ABC Sports presents Coach's Corner. This segment features outstanding collegiate coaches with their analysis of the first half and an assessment of what will transpire during the second half. Our coach today is Ara Parsegian of Notre Dame. And what better man to talk with Ara Parsegian that, who at one time was an old rivalry. Right, Duffy Doherty. Duff?
Our friend and my great friend and the friend of everyone in football is that great young coach from the University of Notre Dame who's sporting a 9-0 record right now. Looking forward to the game at the Miami down in Florida for the 10th game of the season, hopefully having an undefeated season. Now, Ara Parsegian, some people have difficulty pronouncing your name. I remember being at a banquet with you, and you told the Toastmaster that it's pronounced just like par, like in golf, sig, like in Seagram's whiskey, and yen, like in Japanese currency. And yet, when he got up to introduce you, he said, now I want to introduce that drunken Japanese golfer, Ara Parsegian. Is that right?
How hard it is to remember my name.
Ara, you're world famous now. Tell me, give us, what were your observations of this first half of this fine football game?
Well, this is the first opportunity I've had to see either one of the football teams. It's pretty much as I expected. Very interesting that Michigan made 5 first downs in the first quarter, and Ohio State made 5 first downs in the second quarter. And they both play the same type of defense. They're both run-oriented, and the statistics aren't that different. The only one, of course, the most important statistic is that Ohio State has 10 points on the board, and Griffith has broken a couple of tackles and run extremely well. And the field goal, of course, really helped them. The one big play which was interesting was the long run of 38 yards by Griffith, and that was the first down they had made, and that seemed to change the momentum of the game.
It certainly did. Michigan dominated the entire first quarter. These are two excellent defensive teams. They both have carbon copy offenses, and it's difficult to run against each other.
Well, you know, statistically, when you look at the NCAA stats, you're finding both teams are one of the leading teams against the score and also against the run and pass. So you're looking at 2 very fine defensive football teams and 2 teams that are very conservative in their approach to offense. But I think in the second half, with the 10 being behind, it looks like Michigan is going to have to probably put the ball in the air a little bit more. Ohio State has not thrown the ball 1 time, and Michigan has thrown it 3 times, completing 1. And against a good running team, I should say a good run defense like Ohio State has, they're going to have to move that ball in the air, I think.
Let's take a look at some of the plays, the outstanding plays in the first half, and I'd like to have you comment on them, Ara.
Yeah, this is the fumble by Chapman in the early part of the ball game that I think made a big difference in field position. Michigan has not been blessed with good field position in this game. 2 very key plays. He's driving up over the center, and it looks like he's got a good gainer going. The ball comes out, and this was a turnover, and in closely contested games like this, the turnover and the change of field position can make a big difference in the outcome of the game. Now, the next one is with Ohio State with the ball. In my opinion, this is a big play. This was 3rd down and 11, and this is the only play that Ohio State attempted to throw a pass. Green keeps the ball, runs and scrambles for 8 yards, fails just by 3 yards to make the first down, and the end result, of course, is the 38-yard field goal that puts them in the lead by 3-0. And it was really the only attempt. Now here comes the ensuing kickoff, which was a big play again, pointing out this field position business, because Chapman takes this ball and makes a great run, gets a couple good blocks here. A clip occurs right about at this point, right there. Chapman breaks free, goes all the way down to the Ohio State 20-yard line with a 3-0 score, and you can see the significance of this play. I should say he's down about the 27-yard line. But they have to go clear back to their own territory, to about their own 10-yard line, and there's a big change in field position. Here's the touchdown. Was Johnson, a freshman from the full house backfield, 2 tight ends. He really runs this hard. He's well met right there at about the 4, and he keeps driving and really breaks about 4 tackles.
Era now on December 31st, on New Year's Eve at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, you meet the Alabama team, which is ranked number 2 in the nation right now. You saw them on television against LSU. What do you think about your, not about your chance? I'm not going to ask you to predict because we don't want to help the gamblers out.
No, Duffy, I think it's the only time that I've seen Alabama this year. Of course, we don't play common opponents. And, of course, they're playing when we're playing, and so I got to see a couple of the highlights on the Sunday shows. But I was very much impressed with them against LSU. They're a very explosive football team. They've got great speed. They've added a great dimension to the wishbone in just observing that game. They're able to throw very effectively from that wishbone, and they've come up with a lot of long gainers. They really broke LSU's defense with the long pass and the big gain, and as I have heard people talk about, they've done this consistently during the entire year. Darrell Royal at Texas does a great job with the ground game, but did not have the total dimension of the passing game that apparently Alabama has applied to their attack.
Well, thank you, Eric Persig, and you've had a great coaching career, and you're off to the best start you've had in recent years. Let's hope you can go out and make a great bid for the national championship. Now back to Bill Fleming.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And right now in the Michigan Stadium, a stirring sight. This is the 75th anniversary of the writing of the famous song, The Victors. The late Louis Elbel wrote it after Michigan beat Chicago 12-11 in Chicago. He came back to Ann Arbor and wrote it on the train 75 years ago today. Dr. George Cavender, the director of bands here at the University of Michigan. As you know, William D. Ravelli, for 35 years, was the director of bands, and Michigan was the most traveled band in the land. They've traveled with the Soviet Union. They've traveled all throughout Europe, and audiences everywhere have thrilled to their music. So here we come as we're getting ready for the final 30 minutes of football. Ohio State leading Michigan 10-0, and we'll be back in a moment.
Snowstorm. Be ready for it with a winter tire with the exclusive Crosscut tread. The Goodyear Suburbanite XG Polyglass. Crosscut. To fight and plow through deep snow. Crosscut. To grip and help prevent side slip. Monday through next Saturday, buy any XG Polyglass at the regular price. Get the second tire for half price. Only at Goodyear.
In the vast world of ever-ready power sources, one stands out as the best and the longest lasting. The ever-ready alkaline power cell. A long-life power cell that outworks, outlasts, outlives any ordinary battery in heavy-duty use. The ever-ready alkaline power cell. The longest-lasting power source from Ever-Ready. Our best.
Watch Mark Spitz, year's #1 athlete, demonstrate a really close shave.
I'll shave one side with the leading double-edged blade. The other side with the Schick Fluxomatic. Now let's see if my wife Susie can feel any difference.
They're both close. They feel the same.
That's why you should switch to the Schick Fluxomatic. The shave feels blade close because the head is thin. Plus you get comfort because it flexes. Get the Schick Fluxomatic, the electric that feels blade close.
The Ohio State-Michigan football game is being brought to you today by the Yellow Pages. For fast information about almost anything, let your fingers do the walking through the Yellow Pages. By General Motors, maker of Chevrolet, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Buick, and Cadillac, who wants you to drive what you like and like what you drive. By Goodyear, makers of the custom Steel Guard radial tire. And by Texaco and the many thousands of independent Texaco retailers and distributors in all 50 states. Halftime score, the Buckeyes of Ohio State leading Michigan by the score of 10-0. Fortunately, we have had no rain here, although it is threatening now and getting quite breezy. We would rather imagine that Michigan, as Duffy suggested, would come out and do some passing in this second half of play. The final 30 minutes of football in the Big Ten for 73. We'd like to update the report from the Ohio State bench. They fear that Tom Skladany did fracture his left ankle, and so he will be out of action for the rest of the afternoon, and we certainly hope that it's not a serious fracture if it is indeed fractured. Now the Wolverines of Michigan coming out for the last time. Michigan has not lost a Big Ten game under Bo Schembechler in this Michigan stadium, and Bo's in his 5th year. Okay, Chris, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Bill Fleming. We enjoyed the halftime show. It's good to have you here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where you spent so much time throughout your life. And here we are. Say hello to all of you on the biggest weekend in the history of college football on television. And here is the #1 ranked team in the country. And I'm not surprised that the people that rank teams would choose them as #1 because, Duffy, they didn't make one first down in the first quarter, but they came back and made 5, put 10 points on the board against the #4 team in the nation.
They have great poise, Chris. Dartmouth leading 14-3. Harvard in the first quarter, 7-0 behind the Yale. There's Penn leading Cornell 14-0 in the first quarter. Brown leading Columbia 3-0. That's in the second quarter.
So there you saw the Ohio State tri-captains, the Michigan co-captains, Dave Gallagher, Paul Seal, Hare, Middleton, Gradisher, and Hicks. Hicks and Gradishar were 2 of our 23 All-Americans on the Kodak All-America show yesterday following the great Nebraska-Oklahoma game. Coming up as we look at the Wolverines, following our game, as we see Penn State now leading Pittsburgh 3-0 in the second quarter. USC-UCLA follows here on America's #1 sports network, ABC.
The Duke Blue Devils.
And the Duke Blue Devils.
Like an upset in the making, Chris.
Yes. Next week, Army-Navy, along with Alabama-Auburn, another classic rivalry. So, we see Chapman, #24, going deep, along with #5 of the Michigan Wolverines. That is Bell, who can move. Gordon Bell. There you see the men that will try to block for the backs. Johnson, Tucker, Hoban, Franks, Metz, Cood, and Seal. As we have Blair Conway to kick off for the Buckeyes. As soon as it's touched, the second half is underway. Chapman has it the 5, the 10, 15, 20. Good blocking, 25. Drills it out to about the 28. 23-yard return, and for the Wolverines now, let's see what they'll do. Duffy, I think I heard Errol Parsegan on Coach's Corner with you indicate that he felt the Wolverines should go to the air.
I think he said that. I know he said that, but I don't think they'll do it deep down their own territory. They'll wait till they get better field position, I believe.
I had pointed out earlier that last year they completed 13 of 23 for 160 yards against the Buckeyes, but this is another year. They trail 10-0. They have the ball first and 10 at the 28. Franklin handing it off to the powerhouse Ed Shuttlesworth, 6'2", 225 pounds. Gradishar of Champion, Ohio. Let's watch him again, number 53.
It's easily to discern why number 53, Randy Gradishar, is considered everybody's All-American. He's so strong and powerful, he plays off the tackle and makes the tackle on Big Ed Shuttlesworth.
And now Michigan has 2 tight ends. They have Greg DeBoer, number 84, and Paul Seal in the lineup. 2nd and 5, and it's Shuttlesworth moving from the 33, and it's up there mighty close. Gene Calhoun, the referee, blows the whistle, looking to the far sideline as we look at the first half statistics.
This was certainly a defensive half. Ohio State leading 145-91 in total yardage. Offensive plays 29-27. The time of possession almost exactly even, just a matter of 4 seconds difference.
And Michigan gets the first down. 27 for Michigan comes into the lineup. Johnson replacing number 43, Hazelrig. In that first half, Archie Griffin got 102 yards for Ohio State. The Michigan team total 91 yards. But right now they're moving from their own 38, 1st and 10. The pitch goes to Chapman. And Chapman got outside for about 2 yards on the play, perhaps 3, out to the 41, where Van DeCree of Warren, Ohio, on the stop.
Michigan has had little or no success going wide on this Buckeye team because of the great pursuit of those linebackers and those defensive halfbacks.
Hazelrig comes in. 84, Greg Denver comes out. There's Shem Beckler, as does Woody Hayes, sending in the plays. So from about the 41, the hash mark, in Michigan territory, the Wolverines have a 2nd down and 7, trailing 10-0 with 13:15 to go, 3rd quarter. Franklin goes to the air now, and he completes one to Hazelrig, and they are in Ohio State territory. This is their deepest penetration of the ball game by using the forward pass. And I knew Arrow was a great coach.
Well, he certainly knows what they should do, and they've done it. But that was well thrown, too. That ball was thrown to Hazelrig. It was thrown very well. Franklin can throw the ball, and I think they're going to have to do this consistently.
And, of course, Duffy's sitting up here, and we never try to second guess, but from up here, it's so much easier to call things, isn't it?
I like this very much. My hindsight is much better than my foresight.
All right, now from the 46, 1st and 10, and it's Chapman. Chapman carrying on the play. Pete Cusick was the first one there, along with 62, Vic Cagle. And Duffy, you and Bill Fleming have a tough job today picking the offensive and defensive players of the game.
Well, that will be difficult. There have been a lot of outstanding defensive players. Griffin right now looks like, so far, the outstanding offensive player.
I was referring more to defense because that's going to be hard. But you fellows can do it. 2nd down and 8 now. 27, Keith Johnson is the split into the near side. A slot formation. Hazelrig in the slot. Shuttlesworth powering inside the Ohio State 40, getting it inside the 39. Arnie Jones, 42. Tim Fox, number 12, making the tackle. Defensively for the Buckeyes, 88 Decree, 42 Jones, 53 Gradishar, 62 Cagle, 32 Middleton, Cusick, 71, 91 Cope, 46 Luke, 24 Parsons, 12 Fox, Colsey, 20. It is a 3rd down and 3. Gustafson in the lineup, split to the near side of the field for the Wolverines. 3rd and 3. They got the 1st down. Gil Chapman, the junior from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Curtis Tucker and Mike Hoban, the left side lineman for Michigan, blocked beautifully.
That was Michigan's version of a full house backfield. They don't go into the full house on a parallel line. They put the tailback behind the fullback, but have all 3 in a blocking position.
You just joined us. Michigan has taken the 2nd half kickoff, starting at their own 28. They have now reached the 34 of Ohio State as they trail 10-0 with 11:26 to go in the 3rd quarter before a record football crowd on a college campus anytime. 105,223 on an overcast day. There are 675 press representatives here. So we'll be back with more in a minute.
You're looking at a 187-ton log train, and we're about to pull it with our tough new Chevy Cheyenne. It's a 3/4-ton pickup like this, with full-time 4-wheel drive and standard 350 V8 engine, equipped with options you can order through any Chevrolet dealer. We've also added auxiliary rear springs because we're overloading far beyond normal capacity. Watch. They're moving. Our 3/4-ton Chevy Cheyenne is actually pulling 187 tons on this level road. Obviously, we don't recommend you abuse your truck like this, but we do want to show you in a dramatic way how tough we build our Chevy trucks. Chevy Cheyenne. It never forgets it's a tough truck.
Fantastic Michigan cheerleaders here before a record crowd. As we said, over 105,000. Imagine. Oh, that's a lot of tickets. Well, their team has moved it from the 28 to the Ohio State 34, the deepest penetration by the Wolverines as they trail 10-0. 11:26 to go in the 3rd quarter. Here's the 2nd quarter score. Pittsburgh 7, Penn State 3. Dennis Franklin of Massillon, Ohio is the quarterback, number 9. Shuttlesworth felt the wrath of the Ohio State defense, including linebacker 62 Cagle and 42 Jones.
Let's take a look at Cagle, the middle linebacker, one of a great trio. He takes him on with the left arm, which is right, gets in good position and makes the tackle, comes back, plays off the blocker, and tackles Ed Shuttlesworth. It's great to have three linebackers. Some teams are fortunate to have one. They have three great ones.
Keith Johnson, 27 on the near side of the field, second down and 8 from the 32. Pass coming up. Look out. Colsey with an Ohio State interception. Neil Colsey, who's been a key man in the OSU secondary. His fourth interception of the year. It was intended for Johnson, so that is the second Michigan turnover, and it'll be 1st and 10, Ohio State at the 20.
The famous coach Darrell Royal has always said that anytime you put the ball in the air, there are three things that can happen, and two of them are bad, and that's one of the bad things that can happen, having it intercepted.
All right, it'll be Green, 745 Green, 48 Daschnagel, number 36 Elia in the backfield for the Buckeyes, number 1 in the nation and leading Michigan 10-0. Green, who weighs 168 pounds, the quarterback, gives to this speedster who can break tackles as well as any collegiate back. Before that carry, he had 102 yards. Trozak of Warren, Michigan, making the tackle on Archie Griffin, who brought it from the 20 out to the 28.
If I were Woody Hayes, General Woodrow Hayes, I would coach for at least 2 more years because Griffin's only a sophomore.
I doubt if he'll retire.
I wouldn't want to if I were Hayes.
And Ohio State fans, of course, don't want him to. He's just been great at that Columbus, Ohio institution. 2nd and 2 now for the Buckeyes. First down for Ohio State as we look at Griffin again. He's going to have a lot of yardage before this gray afternoon has ended.
They used to call Woody Hayes Buckeye offense 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And Woody's been coaching for 23 years, and he's watched a lot of coaches who coach exciting football get fired. He's had winner after winner.
All right, from the 37, first down. Griffin, the sophomore, is really a battler, isn't he? Number 45 in white. Carl Russ, the junior linebacker from Muskegon Heights, Michigan, in on the tackle.
Chris, the alumni, they don't want to know, how you got across that alumni stripe. They want to know how many times you got across it. You do it 3 yards this time, that counts.
Archie Griffin, 20 carries, 117 yards. He didn't have to be recruited very far. He's from Columbus, Ohio, a native. And there he goes again. So from the 38, their own, the Buckeyes, Archie Griffin moves it out to the 42, it appears. Gain of 4, so now he has 121 yards rushing. He got 91 yards in the second quarter alone.
This is an outstanding Wolverine defensive team, and when you pick the ball and just stick it right in the air, why, that's the mark of an outstanding offensive team.
Archie Griffin, number 45. 5 feet 9, 184 pounds, tremendous thighs. Lots of power in the legs. 3rd and 5, the Buckeyes. And here he goes. That time, the Wolverines stopped him. Look at him. In the blue jerseys, the dark jerseys. Led by Russ, 33, 71 Gallagher, 39 Coleman, and he's getting up very slowly. And there you get a look at the size of those thighs that we were talking about. And they took quite a pounding on that last play. But he can rest now because it's a 4th down. The ball at the 43. He did gain a yard. 4th down and 4. And back to punt is Bartasik of Erie, Pennsylvania, because Skodany was injured, their regular punter, with a sprained ankle. Chapman has it. And look at that violence as Dick Mack, along with Elmer Lippert, were there to cover the ball and the would-be carrier.
Well, I give 100% all the time. I believe that the game is played between those two white lines, and after the game is over with, I like to go in my locker room and feel like I can look in the mirror and say, well, I've given it all I got. That's why I like to use Brute, because it gives me 100%. It smells good. It stays with me a lot longer.
Brute by Fabergé. After shave, after shower, after anything.
On the field, I let my bat do the talking. Off the field, I let my brute do the talking.
How good is your credit card in a foreign country?
My American Express card is as good in Mexico City as it is in Pasadena, California.
I use my American Express card here in Mexico to go Christmas shopping.
In my honeymoon, my wife, myself, and my American Express card chartered a little airplane and flew over to south of Mexico.
I'm sure Jonathan will have to have an American Express card when he grows up.
Call 800-AE8-5000 to apply for an American Express card.
Number 45, Archie Griffin, over 120 yards, bruised something on the last carry, but appears to be okay on the far sideline. They punted 32 yards, 2-yard return, and now Michigan has the ball first and 10 at its own 26, trailing 10-0 with 8:11 to go, third quarter. And Gil Chapman is stopped by Pete Cusick, number 71, and also number 88 on the play, Van Decree from Warren, Ohio, number 88. And Tennessee, headed for the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, is leading Kentucky 6-0.
Northwestern leading the Illini 3-0. Purdue with a 14-0 lead over the Hoosiers of Indiana.
Looks like the old Oaken Bucket will go to West Lafayette.
Cal Stahl, my former assistant, leading Wisconsin 6-0.
Second down and 8 now at the 28. Here's Franklin. So Chapman lost his footing. Arnie Jones covering number 42 and number 12. There is the punter that we were talking about, Galdani. As you see the ankle, some ice on it, Duffy. And
is he the son of the great All-American that played for Jock Sutherland, Joe Spadini?
Yes, sir.
Joe Spadini, one of the great ends in Pittsburgh's history.
Third down conversions. Michigan 3 of 8. Ohio State 2 of 8. So now it's a 3rd and 5 for the Wolverines. Dennis Franklin. Chapman threw a neat block, and the pass was overthrown. Shuttlesworth, the intended receiver, the rush was on.
In fairness to Franklin, he had to throw that ball with a high trajectory, otherwise it would have been picked off. It was very well covered, and he had to throw the ball off behind and throw it out of bounds.
And covering, Duffy, you mentioned number 71, Pete Cusick. Boy, really put the rush. A lot of size. Franklin has now thrown 6 times, completing 2. So it's going to be a 4th down and 5. Michigan from their own 32. Barry Dutzauer. Neil Colesy. Watch him. And Brian Bashnagel are deep. Bashnagel 20. Colesy, rather, 20. And there he is. But the kick was very high. Traveling 31 yards. Chuck Heater, one of the Michigan halfbacks, covered on the play, as Colesy was hit awfully hard and getting up rather slowly at the 40.
I'm sure that Bo Schembechler had his squad working very, very hard on covering kicks, knowing how dangerous Ohio State is in returning them.
Following us, it'll be SC UCLA to determine the victor of this game's opponent in the Rose Bowl. Tomorrow, highlights of other key college games here on ABC. Pitt, Penn State, Texas, Texas A&M, and others. 12 noon. There's the running ability of shifty Cornelius Green, number 7, the sophomore from Washington, D.C. 16 yards, and the number 1 ranked team in the country, Ohio State, has moved it to the Michigan 42.
All right, let's watch number 74 clear the way. He gets off the line faster than anybody. He just crunches the tackle. He stays right with him, then picks up another defender, looking around for more. This was sort of a quarterback follow for 16 yards. It wasn't really an option.
There's that Ohio State band, and they rank high in the country, too, Duffy. But the Michigan band really has it.
Dennis Brown is on the ground. It would hurt them if he was injured. It would hurt the Wolverines.
You know, Duffy, as we speak to you from Ann Arbor, one of the new rules this season will probably not produce any change in play, but should have a tremendous effect in the injury department. Every player is required to wear a mouthpiece to protect teeth and gums. Safety is an important consideration of the NCAA, and this new rule proves it.
I used to worry more about getting my teeth knocked out than my nose. Oh, I felt you couldn't hurt my nose as bad as it looked anyway. And The coaches used to say I didn't need a nose because my place smelled anyway.
Here he is, Dave Brown, a junior from Akron, Ohio, and it'll be Greg Koss of Cayuga Falls, Ohio, number 10, a senior, 6'5", 190, that'll come into the single safety position. So now Ohio State from the I with a flanker to the near side. Bashnagel, number 40, out of a 1st and 10 at the 42, and here's Griffin. Griffin for a yard. Steve Stringco, number 59, in on the tackle.
Chris, it would be interesting. All right, let's watch Stringco and to see him move to the ball. He's played an outstanding game. He and Gradisher probably had more tackles than any 2 men in the field. Very fine tackle by Stringco.
Dave Brown shook off that injury in a hurry. He's back in the lineup, number 6. Cost is out. It's a 2nd and 9 from the 41 of Michigan. Ohio State with the ball leading 10-0, third quarter. Number 33, Carl Russ, having a fine defensive second half. Makes the stop at the 39, joined by Tom Drake, bringing up a 3rd down and 7.
I think we might see Cornelius Green take to the airwaves here because they haven't thrown only about once during this game. And I don't think they've even tried a pass. They haven't thrown a pass.
Thou shalt not.
They tried one
pass.
and then decided to run. But I think he'll try to attempt a pass here, I believe.
Flanker I, 3rd and 7. Of course, with a back like that, the pass becomes secondary.
Well, that shows you that I don't think like Woody, and that shows you why Woody won more games than I did.
Yeah, but you beat him the last 2 times you played him. And how many people can say that?
Right, let's watch Hicks. This is why Woody Hayes doesn't throw the ball with 3rd and 7. I wouldn't either. Watch him. Watch Hicks take that cross-charging tackle and cut him right down. That's a tremendous asset to have a tackle like that on your ball.
Duffy, here we are again, 4th down and 2, and with a team like that, sure, go for it. But also in a position where you could kick a field goal. I keep harping on that. It's close. Was there a fumble? The Michigan players say so, but Gene Calhoun, the referee, goes in there. I don't know whether it's a fumble. He looked to the far sideline. Whether they had made it or not, I guess they didn't get up for that forward shake.
I think it was the same type of a tackle that occurred on Chapman in the first half, where his feet got to the first down, but the ball didn't. That was a key defensive effort by the Wolverines.
Yes, they failed to make it on 4th down by about the length of a football. So it'll be 1st and 10 now here at Michigan Stadium before 105,223. The Wolverines from their own 33, Ed Shuttlesworth, hit by several Buckeyes, including 91 and 42, Jones, 91, Cope.
Jones has been in on a lot of tackles today.
Well, they do a lot of gang tackling, too, Duffy. Very often we'll just say one player on a tackle, and very often in college football there are 2 or 3 that help out. We just don't have time in college football to say everything we'd like to. It's such fast action. Hazelrig, number 43, gets the pass from Franklin, 11 yards. Fox covering, so it's a 1st down for the Wolverines.
When you have a running quarterback like Franklin, probably the most effective pass that you can call in a running situation is a sprint-out pass, where he has the threat of either running if he gets outside the contain or throwing to one of his wide receivers. Just a simple out pattern.
Hazelrig has caught all 3 completed passes thrown by Franklin, number 9, calling signals from his own 46. Oh, look at strength. Shuttlesworth. You could just see the strength of a big fullback at 225 pounds, and Gradishar, the linebacker.
We'd like to show you another shot of this great linebacker. He's got everything. Size and speed and strength and determination. It takes a lot of strength to stop a big 235-pound fullback right there at the point of impact.
You know, Gradishar made the Kodak All-America team 2 years in a row, Duffy.
Not bad.
Not bad.
May not be a record, but it's a darn good average.
He's the only one of 23 that did it. 2nd and 6 from midfield, and Shuttlesworth
It's going to be awful close to a first down, Chris. I'll let you make this prediction.
Oh, this isn't easy.
It's easy.
Because it's right in front of me, Duffy. Dartmouth trying to clinch the Ivy League title with a 14-11 lead in the second quarter. Yale leading Harvard 7-0. Penn over Cornell 14-0 in the first quarter, and one of my alma maters, Brown, leading Columbia 10-0. That's Roone Arledge's alma mater. Okay. Shuttlesworth again. Vic Cagle this time, one of the three linebackers. Duffy, you pointed out before the game that they have three of the finest linebackers, and their names are Middleton, Cagle, and Gradishar, and we've sure used them this afternoon. The names, I mean.
Hitters ahead of Penn State. That's an upset in the making, 7-3. There's another one. Maryland over that fine Tulane team, 14-3.
Second down and 4 now from the I with a flanker to the far side, Hazelrig. Franklin, the quarterback for Michigan. And Shuttlesworth gets another first down as the Buckeyes have rolled out from their own, or the Wolverines have rolled from their own 33 to the Buckeye 31. Cusick on the tackle.
Bo Schembecker has a lot of poise. The Michigan staff certainly aren't panicking. They realize they have a lot of time, and they're going to try to keep on the ground and get that ball across the goal line.
Duffy, this is the deepest penetration by Michigan to the 31. Previously, it was the 32, and then on 2nd and 8, they threw a pass which was intercepted by Colsey. Now, it's the 1st and 10. Chapman, he needed just one more step, but Jim Cope, a defensive end at 6'2", 222, was equal to the task.
That was a little different type option. To cut down the pursuit, Bo Schembecker put a new wrinkle, and he's having the quarterback reverse out to hold the flow of the linebackers, and it was very successful for 6 yards.
Shuttlesworth now is picking up some yardage individually and for the team. He now has 16 carries, 78 yards, 45 yards in this quarter. So, for Michigan, it's 2nd and 3 from the 24 with 1:07 to go. Third quarter, 10-0 Ohio State, and there he goes again. But up front, he has Dennis Franks, the center, Metz and Hoban, the guards, Coog and Tucker, the tackles. First down again. Beautiful.
When you have someone like Shuttlesworth who can carry those tacklers with him, it's not a bad policy to just keep giving him the ball.
You know, he's from Cincinnati, playing for Michigan, and there are a lot of Ohio-born players on the Michigan team.
That just makes this rivalry that much more intense.
That's right. From the 19 of Ohio State, they lead 10-0. Michigan first down. And the man from the Hill City again, Ed Shuttlesworth.
Now, Chris, we have to realize that Michigan's now in 4-down territory. They have 4 downs rather than 3 to make a first down, so that was a very big play. They made 4 yards, and that's fine, right down inside the 20.
You just joined us. There was no scoring in the first quarter. Ohio State put 10 points on the board in the second quarter, a 30-yard field goal. And then they drove 55 yards, 8 plays. Johnson scoring from 5 yards out. Chapman and Shuttleworth, the setback. Shuttleworth gets it again. They needed 6. They're short by about 3 as Cagle was in on the tackle. And as you see, time has run out here in the third quarter of play with the guys leading the Wolverines 10-0. Stay tuned.
What do you want to know about money? How does compound interest work? Suppose you deposit $50 in a savings and loan and add $50 every month for 15 years. At current interest rates, you could then withdraw $50 a month every month for the rest of your life, your children's lives, your grandchildren's, forever and ever, and never touch the money you deposited. Your savings and loan wants you to know how money works.
What's up, Pearly May?
These yellow pages of yours are gorgeous, darling. So easy to find things.
Well, what you looking for?
Well, I was looking for a new garbage disposal. My old one ate my meatloaf and died, poor thing. Well, I guess it's true. You can't be a good homemaker and a sex kitten.
Why don't you look up a cooking school?
Yes, why don't you just chew on your carrots, darling?
For fast information about almost anything, let your fingers do the walking through the yellow pages.
Show Business salutes Milton Berle Tuesday at 9, 8 Central.
105,223, a record crowd at Michigan Stadium. It's been a record week for college football on television, too. As Ohio State #1 plays Michigan, America's #1 network has brought you the record college football games, 5 of them, all top-ranked teams with another one yet to come. USC, UCLA. Fourth quarter now, Michigan with a 3rd and 3. A loss on the play, Chapman, number 24, and again, number 42, Arnie Jones, and let's see him again.
Arnie Jones, that quick lineman, he shoots the gap, throws Chapman for a very crucial loss right here. He's come up with several big plays today, and that could be a great one.
And now, from the 20 plus the 10 of the end zone, a 30-yard field goal by Mike Lantry, who's kicked 7 of 10. He's from Oxford, Michigan. The kick is up on an angle. It's good for Michigan. Now it's 10-3 with 14 minutes, 23 seconds left in the game. So Michigan has scored for the first time, and like Ohio State, they kicked one from 30. And as we said in this record-breaking week, Thanksgiving Day, Notre Dame Air Force, Alabama LSU, yesterday Nebraska Oklahoma, now Ohio State Michigan yet to come. It'll be USC UCLA in a bitter renewal of a rivalry. And incidentally, Bud Wilkinson is not here. First time in 8 years that is not here because yesterday he did the Nebraska-Oklahoma game, and after all, we're all getting a little older, and we don't want to work too hard, right, Duffy?
Right, look at this. At the end of 3 quarters, 193 yards for each team. Michigan completely dominated that 3rd quarter, had the ball for 10 minutes and 13 seconds to only 4 minutes and 47 seconds for Ohio.
But Bud Wilkinson and Mary, Jay, and Pat, we hope you're having a good time in Norman or Oklahoma City watching this game. I know it's your type of football, Bud.
Bud would love this.
Wouldn't he, though? Well, he coached a lot of it, and you know, you don't win 47 straight without having some soundness. But Bud, of course, will join us in Birmingham for the Auburn-Alabama game.
And Chris, that Rose Bowl game is going to be a great game. I think that either one of these teams looks better than UCLA and Southern Cal did on the 2 times we've seen them.
Oh, I was going to ask you that.
That wasn't one of their better performances. We saw Southern Cal against Notre Dame, UCLA against Nebraska.
There's Bo Schembechler, former aide of Coach Woody Hayes. Johnson and Griffin in the eye, and this is Mr. Griffin. He has such sure footing, his feet. Oh, he plants them, and then he, moves with them. It's beautiful. And look at that. Johnny Majors and the Pittsburgh Panthers leading Penn State 13-3 at halftime.
That's what cuts down on certainly the Orange Bowl appeal, I think.
And Pitt going to the Fiesta Bowl in Phoenix.
Against Arizona State or Arizona, that'll be a good game.
2nd down and 7 now. Ohio State, they lead 10-3 with 13:47 left in this game. And the Wolverines want that ball, and look at them. That was like trying to knock over the Empire State Building.
That was one of the...
Johnson, the freshman who scored the only touchdown of the game.
Chris, that was one of the greatest sticks of the day. That Strinker really made a great tackle. She's enjoying herself.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Pretty good looker, right?
Well, all girls are beautiful, just some are prettier than others.
All right. All right, it's 3rd down now. They need 4 yards, the Buckeyes. Green. He was doing that option, sort of a split T slide along the line. Up until this game, he's had great success with it. So it's going to be a punting situation, and look at the Wolverines. And they have a few individual awards on their helmets.
Dave Gallagher, an All-American tackle, their stalwart defensive tackle. He submarines, gets in, and forces the quarterback to eat the ball. And that's pretty tough eating.
Each team has punted 5 times. This is a short one. And it takes a Michigan bounce. In fact, it is inside the 45, the Ohio State 45, Gallagher covering it for the Wolverines. And what field position in a tight, titanic struggle that we're seeing here. We'll be back in a minute.
Ryder rents trucks, small Chevy vans. Ryder rents walk-ins. Ryder rents straight trucks. Ryder rents trailers. Ryder rents GMC tractors. Ryder rents trucks for move-it-yourselfers. So if you need a truck, call Ryder.
Not all radial tires are the same. Some have smooth-riding polyester cord. Some have steel belts. Some have a computerized tread to hold in the wet. Some have cornering grooves. And some have steel stabilizers for handling. But only Goodyear has them all. The Goodyear Steel Guard Radial. With these 5 guards to help protect you 5 ways. Steel Guard, only from Goodyear.
One of the toughest jobs anywhere is that of an official. This is referee Gene Calhoun has just tacked a penalty against Michigan. It's called a delay penalty. And the nearest we can gather is that a signal for a fair catch was given. And then Gallagher downed the ball ahead of where the fair catch signal was given.
When one person signals a fair catch, that rules out anyone else touching the ball or catching on the receiving team.
So they did delay the game, right? But nevertheless, Michigan with fine field position at their own 49 instead of in Ohio State territories. We have 12:26 to go in the ball game. 10-3 is the score. Ohio State leading. And there goes Ed Shuttlesworth, who has had a great second half. Mike Hoban again of Chicago, number 61, the left guard. As we look at Coach Woody Hayes, made a great block.
I'd like to make an important point. I think the scoreboard is wrong. I believe it's now 2nd and 10 because that foul occurred after the whistle had blown. It's a dead ball foul, and it made it 1st and 15.
It was my error not to point it out, Duffy.
Well, they had the scoreboard wrong, Chris.
Well, I do my own running account here. I should have said it. Okay, a bullet. And number 83, 6'6" Paul Seal of Detroit catches that bullet. He was nearly wide open. 27 yards inside the Ohio State 20. First down, and listen to these fans.
Here's Seal. He's more open than Sally Rand. He caught that ball, and there was nobody within 5 yards of him when he caught it, and he ran very well after he caught it. He's 6'6" and has a lot of power and a fine receiver.
He was more open than who?
Well, Sally Rand. That's,
oh, okay. I'll go for that.
That's your vintage.
1st and 10 now for Michigan. Inside the 20 at the 19. And now a fired-up Michigan team. Number 4 in the country, led by Shuttlesworth. Get inside the 15 on that last play. Shuttlesworth now has carried the ball 21 times for 101 yards.
Once again, Randy Gradisher is in there making the key tackle. He's been all over the field. Truly outstanding.
Shuttlesworth now 68 yards of his total in this second half. 2nd and 5 for Michigan at the 14 of Ohio State. Shuttlesworth, number 31. And at the bottom, you see Seals blocking on the play, and there you see the clock running. This is the 4th quarter. Well, of course, this is not the type game, since it's for the Big Ten championship, national ranking. Not a time to go for a tie, but say we do get a Michigan touchdown, Duffy. What about the 2-point thing?
With 10 minutes to go, they would go for 1 point, I would believe, because they feel there's plenty of time to score again.
Oh, against Ohio State? Okay. 3rd down and 3. But a tie wouldn't mean a thing to Michigan.
Now we're going to have about a 4th and 1 situation.
Right.
This will pose an interesting conjectural problem for Bo Schembechler, whether to go for a field goal or whether to go for a first down. I know the fans always say go, 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 but a field goal right now would give them a chance to come down and score a touchdown and win the game outright.
All right, they're coming out here to measure and, of course, precisely place the ball. Duffy, I don't know. 4th down, and there is now inches. The game of inches, golf. Let's listen. bet he has enough confidence in those men up front and the backs to try to get the inches against the nation's #1 football team, Ohio State.
Well, he'll almost have to go with a quarterback sneak because that's the safest play in football for anything up to about a foot or 18 inches.
His formation is not the straight T, it's the power I, as you see. Inches, 4th down. Biggest play Michigan has had. Look at this, touchdown! Oh, my heavens, what a call! Dennis Franklin on one of the great calls. Everyone was surprised. I know I was.
Yes, I was, too. I thought they'd go with the first down. They gambled and all the way.
And now, will they go for 2?
No, I don't think they will.
Yeah, but a tie is like kissing your mother-in-law.
Yeah, you've got 9 minutes and 32 seconds. This will put the pressure onto Ohio State because they have to battle to maintain that #1 position.
All right. Dennis Franklin. What a play. 10 yards and the touchdown, and now the point after to tie it up at 10-all from Oxford, Michigan. Lantry. Is this an important kick with Gustafson holding it up? It is good. A 51-yard march by the Wolverines. A 10-yard touchdown run by the quarterback, Franklin. Pandemonium in Ann Arbor. Will be back. Wow.
Once upon a time, there were 2 drivers. One got terrific gasoline mileage because of the way he drove, while the other one got terrible mileage. For example, he'd make jackrabbit starts, flashy, but they wasted gasoline. And instead of driving at 50, he'd race along at 70, using about 25% more gasoline. Naturally, he wasted so much gasoline, he was forever stopping to refuel. But he never checked his tires, never slowed down gradually at stop signs, never had tune-ups, all of which would give him more miles to the gallon. When he got home, he was too tired to do anything but hit the sack, while our other driver had saved enough money to take his family out to dinner. The moral of our story? Haste makes waste. And Texaco thinks that's important to remember during the energy shortage.
Well, a fantastic 51-yard march by the underdog Wolverines. A 10-yard run by their quarterback on a surprise call on 4th down and inches for the touchdown. The point after by Lantry. We have a tie ball game with 9:32 to go. This is for, well, everything. This game.
Chris, we haven't had an afternoon like this all fall. This is great. Big Ten football at its best.
All right, Mike Lantry, who kicked that tie point after, kicks it, and Griffin will not bring it out. Archie Griffin. So the Buckeyes, #1 in the country, will try to move it 1st and 10 against the Wolverines, who have to be fired up now from the 20. And Duffy, in case this game ends in a tie, as we said, this game is for the Rose Bowl as well as other things. What happens?
The athletic directors will vote. In case of a tie vote, Michigan would go, but they could vote Ohio State or Michigan, either one. It takes a majority of the athletic directors to pick the team.
In 1966, Bud Wilkinson and I sat also in Michigan, but in East Lansing, and saw a Ara Parsegan-Duffy Doherty 10-10 tie for a national championship. Do you recall that, Coach?
I sure do.
All right. Now from the 20, Ohio State. This is Cornelius Green giving to a great back, number 45, Archie Griffin of Columbus, Ohio.
We will find out very shortly if the Buckeyes are the #1 team in the country. We'll see. The test of a great team is after you've suffered a little adversity, if you can come back.
The fans and the coaching staff are angry because they felt Griffin had moved forward prior to the snap of the ball.
He stopped, though, before the ball was snapped. I saw that.
2nd down and 5 now. Those are the Buckeyes, ranked #1 in white. They led 10-0, but Michigan has come back. A 30-yard field goal and a 10-yard touchdown, and look at him spin away. 1st down out to the 38. Russ on the tackle, and the Buckeyes are on the move.
I don't think Archie wants to settle for a tie. We got a great game here because both teams are going to have to gamble now to win this championship, to keep their fight for the bid for the national championship on.
We should point out there's a lot of time remaining in this game, 8 minutes, 47 seconds. And it's been one of those games that, what a thrill to do, just to sit and watch it and enjoy it with all our folks at home. First and 10 now from the 38. Isn't he good? Did you see him pick his spots to step? Archie Griffin.
Hey, bastard. Hey, bastard. We're going to see a lot of Archie Griffin here in this last 8 minutes. They're going to just run him and give the ball to Elia just as a changeup.
You know, Griffin, in one game as a player, as a freshman, had 239 yards rushing against North Carolina. All right, now it's second down and 6. From the 42, the deep back gets it again, and there he is. Brown on the tackle, and the ball is advanced to near midfield, and Griffin getting up slowly. Four straight runs. He now has a total of 163 yards on 29 carries. He limps off, and all of the fans, including Michigan fans, give him a round of applause.
Here's Dave Brown, number 6. He's a hard tackler. He gets him right around the leg and twists the leg a little bit, not intentionally. That's part of football.
All right, first and 10 now from the 49. Green giving to the replacement, Elmer Lippert, a senior from Sandusky, Ohio, 5'7", 180. Don Dufek of Ann Arbor, a sophomore, in on the tackle.
That was a tough break for the Buckeyes, getting their star runner Griffin injured. Let's hope that it's nothing serious.
Ankle or knee. We got a report from our colleague Bill Fleming at our first opportunity as the ball is now at the 48, second down and 7. The game is tied 10-10. Lippert, who has replaced injured Griffin, carried Gallagher, one of them in on the tackle, and one other man who's just getting up, number 59, Steve Strinko. Let's watch Gallagher, number 71. He's tough.
One of Michigan's All-Americans. He's picked on most All-American teams. He stays low and he charges fast and hard and gets Lippert for little or no gain. This is a big play now, Chris.
Yes. Will this be Ohio State's first pass of the ball game? That's hard to believe, but that would be true should that happen.
This play is that important to them that they're taking a timeout now to discuss it with Coach Woody Hayes.
That just shows you the great organization, the discipline that college football helps bring about.
Chevrolet introduces the Caprice Classic for 1974 for people who think driving is something the car should do. It comes with turbo-hydromatic transmission that does all of the shifting. Power steering that does most of the turning. And power front disc brakes that do most of the stopping. You can add power options to lock your doors, open your windows, adjust the driver's seat. You can even add cruise control to maintain your speed for you. A car that almost drives itself. 74 Caprice Classic by Chevrolet. You might not want to look any higher.
Back again, and Bill Fleming down on the sideline has just informed us that Archie Griffin very often has muscle cramps. He has those heavy, thick thighs. That's what he sustained. And now we've also been told by Bill that Archie's back in the huddle, and now we spot him, number 45. And the fans here have been spotting him along with you all afternoon. He's the deep back. Duffy Doherty used to say, watch the deep back, and you can tell where the play is going to go. Well, Duffy, it's no more true today. Look at that. There's the deep back, Archie Griffin. Steve Strinko on the tackle, bringing up a 4th down. The ball is inside the 45 at the 44 of Michigan. A Wolverine shaken up. Don Warner, a senior from Dearborn, number 54, shaken up on the play. And this is a hard-hitting battle between quick, big football players. Scoreboard show coming up. Dave Dials will be there. And I'm sure Merle Harmon got back from his chores of doing the Nebraska-Oklahoma game to work on it with Dave.
Chris, if this game should end in a tie, this would probably, in all probability, make the Sugar Bowl game on New Year's Eve at 8 p.m. Eastern Time between Alabama and Notre Dame. It could possibly be for the national championship.
Right, because Alabama is undefeated. Notre Dame is undefeated with a game to play. Of course, Alabama has to play Auburn next week, a game you'll see right here on ABC.
We had a very impressive Oklahoma team play yesterday on ABC out in Norman, Oklahoma, and defeat a fine Nebraska team 27-0.
All right, now, it's a 4th down and 3, and the punter is in. Bartosik, because Sculdani was injured. Bartosik that's kicking. It's Brown looking high and very carefully pulls it down at the 11 for Michigan. Michigan, there's the player, number 54 of Michigan, Don Warner, who was injured. They're looking at that knee. There's one of the physicians, and what a job the physicians do in athletics.
They certainly do. Their first concern is for the player.
What a job they do in the whole of life.
That's right.
I couldn't get along without him.
I predict that Bo Schembechler is going to go for broke. He likes to win. He doesn't like ties either, and he's going to put that ball in the air, Chris.
All right, Archie with 166 yards. Now he can rest because it's the Wolverines who have held sway here in the 4th quarter with a field goal and a touchdown to tie the score. Shuttlesworth carried on the play. From the 11, he moves it out to about the 14. The drive, the first, of course, at 14:23 of the 4th quarter is a 30-yard field goal by Michigan. Then at 9:32 of the 4th quarter, a 51-yard drive, 6 plays, and on the 4th down and inches, a 10-yard run by the quarterback Franklin. The point after try was good, and thus a tie ball game. And now we have 5:31 to go. The clock running, tied for all the marbles in the Big Ten. 2nd and 7. Franklin, a bullet. Hasselrig, did he? Oh, he was wide open.
He had to come back for the ball a little bit, Chris, but he still made a fine catch. Got it.
Clint Hasselrig of Cincinnati, who had caught 8 coming into this game. Very fine kick return man. And 27, Keith Johnson, comes out of the lineup now. Franklin has thrown 9 times for Michigan today, completing 5 for 78 yards. Franklin scored the Michigan touchdown. Johnson scored the Ohio State touchdown. So from the 28, 5 minutes left in the game. It's tied. Gil Chapman, nowhere. Thrown for a loss by number 12, sophomore Tim Fox from Canton, Ohio.
That was a big play for the Buckeyes.
Lost back to the 22 to be 2nd down and 16, and there is Woodrow Hayes, Woody Hayes. Imagine the fans in Columbus watching. Now I bet John Galbraith is on the edge of his chair right now. He's probably the number 1 Ohio State fan. Hasselrig to this side on 2nd and 16. Here's Franklin. Again, Hasselrig is open. He, this time, catches it at approximately the 36. So that was a gain of, let's see, how many yards? Comes out to the 36, so they are short now by about, it looks like 3 or 4.
Chris, he had the first down made, but he made a move trying to get open and run for further yardage, and unfortunately lost the first down that he already had made.
All right, so across the 35, at the 36, Larry Gustafson is in, along with Hazelrig. And a big first down by number 24, Gil Chapman. 3:36 to go. Timeouts. Michigan has 2 left. Ohio State has 2 left.
Mike Lantry of Michigan has kicked field goals over 50 yards, and they're only about 2 first downs away from a possible field goal.
Up until that conversion, neither team had converted a 3rd down in this half. So it's 1st and 10 Michigan at the 39. The score is tied 10-all. Ed Shuttlesworth carried on the play.
Chris, there has not been an offside penalty against either team. The game has been remarkably free of penalties.
Okay, now with the ball at the 44, it's a 2nd down and 5. In this half, Ed Shuttlesworth has carried it 18 times for 79 yards. That's a great effort. Great blocking, great running. Keith Johnson to the far side, number 27. Franklin in this half has completed 5 of 7. He wants to throw again, but the pressure is on. He completes it to Shuttlesworth at midfield. It should be a first down. Michigan.
Crisper has been a tremendous void between the linebackers of Ohio State and their deep secondary.
And the quarterback, Dennis Franklin, the junior from Massillon, shaken up on that last play. It's a first down play near the 48 of Ohio State. In this half, Franklin had thrown 8 times, completed 6. We had mentioned earlier that last year he completed 13 of 23. But it was always a case of great goal line stands and the upset by the Ohio State Buckeyes. That was a year ago, 14-11. But that's another year with 2:23 to go in the game. We'll be back.
Camp is just around the bend. Now comes Miller time. The rough water is behind you, and there's some great beer ahead of you. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you got the time, if you got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer. If you got the time, Miller beer. We've got the beer.
Ever stay at a hotel you thought was convenient, only to find out your business is way across town? Well, Holiday Inn gives you a choice of locations in every major city.
Just look at the time. There's another Holiday Inn.
And as every businessman knows, that can really pay off.
You're late. What kept you?
The traffic was murder.
Should have stayed at the Holiday Inn.
Get closer to your business with Holiday Inn, the most accommodating people in the world.
You can see the wear and tear on Dennis Franklin's face. He is shaken up. It appears to be a shoulder. It's a tough break for the junior from Massillon, Ohio. Larry Sippa, number 13, will take Franklin's place. And here in this game, we have 2 black quarterbacks. Green of Ohio State, and here Franklin. And Franklin was the boy on a great call that scored the 10-yard touchdown, and with the point after, tied the game against Ohio State. It's 10-10. 2:14 to go. The clock running. 1st and 10. At the 49 of Ohio State, Michigan. Larry Sippa. And Shuttlesworth carries the ball. Sippa, a senior from Cincinnati. 6'4", 210. A lot of pressure on him. There he is, number 13. He's cool under pressure. He came off the bench to lead the 1971 victory over Ohio State.
Sippa is considered the outstanding passer on the Michigan squad. He's a very fine passer, and he's a tremendously poised youngster, having had 2 years' experience.
Remember, we told you Michigan had not lost a home game in more than 4 years. They're home here now. 2nd and 6. Shuttlesworth again.
Backward includes Jones and middle. Of course, that clock's running down very rapidly. 1 minute and 17 seconds, and the clock is running. They're going to have to hurry to get underway. To even get into, they took a timeout now.
They have a following wind here, Duffy. We can always anticipate, you know, if they get within range of a field goal, the following wind has to help.
They need about another 8 or 10 yards to put the ball within Landry's range.
Ohio State has 1 timeout left. Michigan has 2 with 1:12 to go. Landry is a field goal kicker that can kick them 50 yards. And there you see Coach Woody Hayes by the down marker. And it's 3rd down and 3 at about the 42.
I want to apologize to my sister for an insult that I made back in 1966. I said after that Notre Dame game that a tie game was like kissing your sister, but I have a very lovely sister, so I want to apologize to her right now.
Oh, you should apologize, because I have 2 lovely sisters, and I love to kiss them.
Okay, good.
I'm glad you made that correction, Duffy, after all this time. All right. Oh, this is exciting. Golly. What a way to spend an autumn afternoon. College football, and there he is, number 36, with all the awards on his helmet. He has a 30-yard field goal to his credit. He has a 51-yarder this year. Soon, maybe the pressure will be on him. In a tie ball game, oh, right now, Gil Chapman is short of a first down. On a 3rd and 3, got it to the 41. It'll be 4th down and 2. The line of scrimmage will be around the 41 of Ohio State. You must remember in college football, the goalposts are on the end line, not the goal line. So you have 10 additional yards, plus the spot of the kick on the field.
Let's take a look at another key play by this great linebacker, Gradisher. This was a very must play, a must defensive play for the Buckeyes. He took on that offensive lineman, didn't budge an inch, and then sheds him and makes the tackle. Now we have a very key decision that Bo Schembechler must make, and I believe he'll probably go for the field goal. It'll take a 57-yard field goal, Chris.
Yes, number 36 has come out there. He's from Oxford, Michigan. Great success story. Vietnam veteran, married and has a son. A shot putter for the track team. 6'2", 210 pounds, and he's a walk-on player. Boy, oh boy, Mike Lantry.
With this wind, he could get that ball that far.
The spot is the 48. It would be a 58-yard kick, Duffy. A tiebreaker with 1:06 to go. Larry Gustafson holding. Here it is. Oh, the Vietnam veteran's kick is up. It is. Would you believe it is off to the side, but nearly there.
Is there a flag down? No flag, I guess that was just...
That was the... Boy, Duffy, that one looked like it was going to make it.
It was long enough, Chris.
Sure,
I thought it was good. It was long enough.
Look at Mike Lantry. He's a junior. That drive began at the Michigan 12. That was 10 plays ago before they tried that 58-yard field goal. Let's see it again.
It missed by a foot, Chris, just by a foot. What a heartbreaker for Lantry and the Wolverines.
What a gutsy effort. All right, now, we have Greg Hare quarterbacking for Ohio State, putting it in the air, and Michigan recovers. Michigan has the ball. The interception by Tom Drake, a junior with 52 seconds to go. Michigan has the ball inside the Ohio State 35.
I never thought they'd get another chance. Greg Hare was a little bit off balance when he threw that ball and didn't have much tone on it. Well, Michigan has completely dominated this second half. They came back after a 10-0 deficit, and they came back with a vengeance. You have to give them credit for not deserting their game plan, Chris.
That was Drake's second interception of the year, one that he'll remember most of all. Wow. Now the ball is at the 33. There's Bo Schembechler.
Get off the field.
Bo, you better get off the field. You're liable to get tagged with a penalty. Look out. He was only trying to tell his players. He was trying to tell 27 Johnson something additional, plus his quarterback, Sippa, who has had to play in the game because Dennis Franklin was injured. The only Ohio State pass was intercepted, Duffy. Greg Hare came in his very first play. That was the only pass of this game by the Buckeyes.
That's 1-for-1, but that's not funny, I'm sure.
No.
Woody and his staff have done such a remarkable job. This is truly an outstanding Buckeye team. Two great football teams. You asked me earlier what was wrong with the Big Ten. Well, they've been operating under some rules that certainly are more restricted than other conferences. They haven't been able to redshirt, which they can starting now. They can only 30 players a year as compared to 90 every 2 years in other conferences.
You know, last year, Michigan spurned field goals in Columbus and were upset 14-11. Let's listen to Bo.
Two plays, and get the hell out. Kill him. Call both plays.
Now that's Bo Schembechler, and here's a point. Bill Fleming just gave me a point. That was Michigan's last timeout. He's angry because they called a timeout. I don't blame him. 52 seconds to go.
He has called two plays in the huddle. They'll line up without a huddle on the second play.
Wow. They have not lost a home game in more than 4 years, carrying a 28-game streak into the game here at the largest stadium. Gil Chapman, number 24, moving it from the 33. In comes Heater, number 44. And there's a young man who played such a great game. He's helpless because the defense has to do all the work. So now it is 2nd down and 5 at the 28 with 30 seconds to go. A pass into the flat over the head of Keith Johnson, number 27, and now enter Mike Lantry. And in a short period of time, he's had pressure twice. The second time coming up now. But his last try, if you just joined us, was 58 yards. It appeared long enough. It was to the left. Gustafson will hold the spot of the kick near the 34. It'll be a 44-yard kick almost straight away.
This is the whole game wrapped up in one play. A whole season for two great teams, two fine coaching staffs.
If he makes this, it'll change a lot of things. And stepping over the back of a player, the kick is up and it's no good, off to the other side. Probably in correcting, he was to the opposite side on the 58-yarder, coming back with a 44-yarder. The correction took it to the other side of the upright. Wow.
Let's take a look at Mike Lantry, a fine kicker. He keeps his head down. He gets a good foot into it. The ball just goes off to the right a little bit. I'm sure that he's heartbroken. He knows that that's the whole ball game.
And does that make our Sugar Bowl game important for the national championship? Alabama, Notre Dame.
Could be for everything.
Oh, you're darn right. I remember a memorable 10-10 tie. And Woody's not playing for the tie here. Look at that ball. It's up for grabs. 13 seconds, 13 seconds left in the game. It is incomplete. And, in fact, not intercepted. Ohio State has one timeout left. 13 seconds remaining on the clock. Greg Hare lofted that one a mile.
This is the greatest juggling act of the entire season. The ball is touched by about 4 different players. There's Brown coming up. Elliott. Now we have Bash Nagel, number 48. Another Michigan man. I can't find the number. They can't get the handle. There. The ball hasn't been... there it is, finally incomplete. After hitting 8 different players. That's the juggling act of the year.
13 seconds. Ohio State with a timeout left. 2nd down and 10 at their own 20. Greg Hare from Cumberland, Maryland is the quarterback. He's back. He throws long. They just got to put it up there. Number 13 is out there. Morris Bradshaw. Incomplete. Stops the clock. 3rd down and 10. 6 seconds to go.
I'm glad to see both of these coaches going for the ball.
Duffy, I can't believe that juggling act. Videotape is lovely. Let's watch it again.
Let's take another look at it. Here's the ball is thrown deep.
Hazel, number 82.
Just count the number of men to touch it. There's 3 of them together.
Brown,
1,
number 6.
2. Here's up here we have the Bashnagel, number 3. Brown, 6, 7. It was touched about 9 different times by about 6 different players.
6 seconds, 3rd down and 10, a tie score. And again, it's long. It is out of bounds. And the game, the time has expired. It's another memorable 10-10 tie. ABC has been at both of them since 1966. Michigan State, Notre Dame, and now today on a gray afternoon, also in the state of Michigan, but in Ann Arbor. And Duffy, that year, what happened to the national championship because of the tie?
Well, Notre Dame played Southern Cal next week and beat them 51-0, and they were voted the number 1 team.
All right. We have undefeated Alabama playing Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl New Year's Eve.
That's right. That could be for the national championship. And right here, though, Chris, the athletic directors will take a vote, and they will announce it tomorrow.
At 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, which team will be the Big Ten representative in the Battle for the Roses, and the West Coast team will be the winner of the UCLA Southern Cal game later this afternoon. Now, I would think, I'm just going to be conjectural, I would think that the sentiment would be with Michigan because Ohio State went last year. Now, this is not the rule. They only would Michigan go if it's a 5-5 vote. It has to take a majority vote. If it's a tie vote, then Michigan would go because Ohio State's been there more recently. But the fact that Michigan came back and dominated the game the entire second half and came from a 10-0 deficit, I would think that in the minds of most people that this would make them the sentimental favorite at least to go to the Rose Bowl.
Well, both sides, great players. A 10-10 tie will return.
Oh, cut the
How far?
George Stabler, Director of Forestry Research, Weyerhaeuser.
What would happen if you pulled that?
George and his staff of research scientists already know how to double growth in Weyerhaeuser forests. Yet they're still not satisfied.
Where did you learn to graft?
This special graft is the beginning. From it will come special seeds, then superior seedlings, fast growers, and tremendous wood producers.
Well, there's about 60 million trees in this nursery.
60
million. 60 million.
The goal? More wood from the forests with food and shelter for wildlife and recreation for man. Fortunately, our wood resources are renewable. And fortunately, too, there are research scientists like George looking out for the future needs of young guys like these. Weyerhaeuser, the tree-growing company.
Hey, I lost my frog.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, and we really had a very tough time this afternoon to decide who the offensive and defensive players would be, but there you see it on your screen. Not much doubt about it. Archie Griffin, who had something like over 160 yards today, and Dave Gallagher, the brilliant All-American defensive tackle of the University of Michigan. And I'd like to introduce to you at this time Mr. Robert O'Connor, who is the general sales manager of Chevrolet, and Bob has joined us today to make the presentation of these $1,000 scholarships on behalf of Dave Gallagher and Archie Griffin to the respective athletic directors. And Bob, if you'll take it over from here.
What a battle, huh? I'll tell you, I'm sure both of you gentlemen are very, very proud of the really outstanding accomplishments that...
I just want to introduce Ed Weaver here, the athletic director of Ohio State, and I also, Don Lund is behind me. We're kind of cramped up here, Bob, but if you'd make the presentation to Ed.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you, Bill. I'm sure you gentlemen are both very proud of the outstanding accomplishments of these two young men.
We are, Bob.
They've done a great job today, and certainly in a battle like this one today, they're both entitled to the scholarships that we want to award in their names. I'm sure you both already know that Chevrolet is very much interested in college athletics, and we feel that this is a very good program, and on behalf of Chevrolet and in the name of these two players that we have here today, the outstanding defensive player and the outstanding offensive player, I would like to make this award to you on behalf of Chevrolet in the names of these men, and I'd like to also accompany that with our congratulations to these men, to you, and to your respective universities.
Fine, very well said. And Ed, congratulations. Don, I know that you can use it. And thank you, Bob O'Connor, for joining us here today. Chris, now back to you.
And in one of the great pressure games, a great comeback by Michigan, trailing 0-10 and tying it 10-0. We'd like to thank the kind people of the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, especially Bob Lane and Jim Newcomb for all their help and cooperation on this hectic Thanksgiving weekend, because we had some great and tough traveling arrangements to be made. The executive producer of NCAA football, who loves college football, Rune Arledge. Today's coverage of the Ohio State-Michigan game was produced by Chuck Howard, directed by Andy Sedaris, and they did a great job, all of them. Technical director, Werner Gunther. Associate producer, Bob Kelly. Associate director, Roger Goodman. Coming up at 4 Eastern Time, it's USC, UCLA. That's coming up after the post-game show, where you'll get other scores, and we'll have to wait until tomorrow to find out what team will represent the Big Ten against the winner of SC UCLA. Once again, the final score. Michigan now has not been defeated at this stadium in 29 games because it wound up at a 10-10 tie. Our thanks to Bill Friel and Terry O'Neill, Chris Schenkel, along with Duffy Doherty and Bill Fleming, saying so long from Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. Air travel arranged through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines, chosen for travel by more sports teams than any other airline. 3, 2, 1. NCAA football, Ohio State, Michigan, has been brought to you by Weyerhaeuser, the tree-growing company, for lumber, plywood, paper packaging, and thousands of other products from wood. By the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. By Chevrolet, building a better way to see the USA. And by Holiday Inn, the most accommodating people in the world.